Hello and good evening from Edgbaston and welcome to Bears Den TV, where for this Vitality Blast season we're going to be bringing you 4 of the games, and fingers crossed we're going to kick off with tonight's opening game between Birmingham Bears and our visitors Somerset. Now, owing to today's weather, of course, we are expecting a bit of a delayed start. The umpires have been out, they have been doing an inspection. We will bring you the update as and when we have it. Now, of course, things are a little bit different out here today. Normally, these stands would be packed with you lot. You can't be here today, unfortunately, but you can still be a massive part of the game, and we really want you to get involved with your own Bears Dens at home. All you have to do is share your pictures with us via social media. Use the hashtag, you know it, YouBears, and also you can download our new Edgbaston app. It's free on iOS or Android, and use the photo wall there to share your pictures with us. We can't wait to see them. Now, we're all very excited about the start of this season. We've been waiting for it long enough, haven't we? But no one is more excited than first team coach Jim Troughton, and I caught up with him a little earlier.
They're really excited. You know, T20s was a good time of year for guys to go out and express themselves, play aggressive cricket, entertain the crowds, although we might not have any crowds, but I don't think that will take away from the standard of play and the way that our guys go and approach their cricket.
Obviously, it's been a very different season. How have preparations gone? Because you've had an intense red ball spell, but after nothing so long.
Yeah, it was a tight squeeze after that last game at Worcester. We did have an internal game amongst ourselves yesterday, which was affected by weather. We could only get one innings in, so a bit disappointed that we couldn't get a full game in to give everyone an opportunity. Even the warm-up game at Portland Road with the second team got affected by rain. We only batted in that game, so yeah, it's a good opportunity that we're going to be saying to a lot of other counties that in terms of the lack of time to prep, but it doesn't take away from what you do in white ball cricket, which is to go out and express yourself and look to take wickets, look to hit the ball out the park and field the house down.
We are in Edgbaston at the moment. Normally at this time, before a T20 game, the crowd will be spilling in, we'll be getting the atmosphere. There isn't going to be a crowd tonight.
It will be odd. You know, we love the crowd here at Edgbaston. It's always a really good crowd, and the music's blaring and the fireworks are going off, and to not have that in T20 cricket will be an adjustment. But like I said, I don't think it's going to take away from the standard of cricket. It's still going to be entertaining. Obviously, those who aren't at the ground can watch live online and watch the game from the comfort of their own home. I think today would be quite not a bad one to watch from the comfort of your own home with the weather over my shoulder. But the guys, they'll make those adjustments. Hopefully we'll have a few people in the crowd to throw the ball back when we hit it into the park, out the park. Yeah, it'll be odd, but it still won't take away from the standards.
It is the final season for one guy, Gene, who's obviously been a huge influence on this side. And how big a difference do you think it's going to make?
There's a massive difference. You know, there's not many overseas that have played a part in a club's history as much as Jeets has in all forms of the game. You know, he's a bear through and through, and to get him back with COVID around as well was a great effort by the club, and also a testament to him that he wants to come and play as much cricket as he possibly can. So to have Jeets for this final competition as a final farewell would be a great thing for him, and hopefully we all get round him and we all perform and do our jobs and send him off with hopefully some really positive feelings about the club and about his own game. Yeah, and some silverware, obviously.
Well, we've just had confirmation that there will be another inspection at 7 o'clock. So we're going to keep you posted through until then, and we'll let you know exactly what the umpires have to say about it. Now, we have heard from our head groundsman, Gary Barwell, that there has been 2 inches of rainfall in the last 24 hours. He's been working really hard out there. The covers have been on and off throughout the course of this afternoon. In terms of the weather, which is actually my day job, touch and go. We've got quite a few showers which are heading down from the north at the moment. So fingers crossed we will get some play today. I'm going to go out there and say hopefully we will. But to get us in the mood for it, let's relive some of those glory days. Let's go back to 2014, probably the most memorable moment in Bears' recent history, as they took on the final.
It's the final of the NatWest T20 Blast, and Andrew Flintoff makes his return for Lancashire in a very, very high-profile game. It is Birmingham against Lancashire. Birmingham won the toss, and they will...
And then coming off that sort of semi-final, it's always quite a wait, isn't it, with that second semi-final taking place afterwards. What did you do with yourself in between those games?
I went home and had a kip on the sofa. Like it
Oh,
was,
perfect.
it was sweet. I literally walked home, went home, watched a little bit of the other semi-final on TV, but just had a doze lying on the sofa because it is a long time, and I think that's obviously one of the advantages we had with being at home was we could do that.
No, I don't know. I think it all goes. The day goes so quickly. I think quite a few of us just sat around in the viewing area really. Watched a bit of the other second semi-final, and just relaxed really. Just getting ourselves ready for the final.
Yeah, no, I actually showered up, got some food, and then I jumped in the car and drove back home. I was literally down the Perthshire Road. It was 2 minutes away, so I managed to go back home. I actually lay on the floor on a foam roller for a couple of hours, watching the second semi-final. And my mom actually was over for finals day. She came back and watched the final, or sorry, the second semi-final with me at home. And then I headed back into the ground for finals day then, and yeah, it was a bit strange just walking, because we obviously had to walk through the crowd to get back to the change, to get back to like the dressing rooms again, and there was obviously a lot of Bears fans there, and they were all like wishing us well for the final. So yeah, it sort of sank in then that yeah, we obviously made that final, and yeah, I suppose I just wanted to really enjoy that moment.
It's a good job your mum was there, perhaps, because if you were lying down and you dozed off, it would have been a bit embarrassing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been great if I'd have missed if I'd have rocked up late for the final. But yeah, thankfully, I can't say I slept at all. I watched the whole of the second semi-final just because obviously we knew we were going to be up against one of the two teams, so it was a bit of like background stuff as well for me to try and have a few plans in place for whoever we were going to play in the final. So no, it was great. It was great to obviously be able to have our finals day at home and have that chance to obviously go home for a few hours.
I think it was raining. If I recall, it started to spit a bit. It started raining, and I think I just stayed at the ground and then went to the shop. It was just sitting around, full of energy, a bit of nerves, but I think deep down we were pretty excited. To be honest with you, like it's more excitement, and we were pretty confident as well. So like, yeah, personally, I was pretty confident going into the finals. But yeah, just looking back, it's just amazing. It was like one of the best days of cricket I've been part of.
I didn't go home. It was a bit of a strange one because obviously it's sort of I'd never been to finals day before, and I didn't really know how to kind of react and how to act for those next few hours. Whilst do you watch the other game? Do you kind of try and get your head down for a little sleep, try and rest? I don't know. And I don't remember anyone leaving the ground. I mean, I think majority of us kind of hung around the dressing room and watched the second semi-final to try and I suppose do a little bit of homework on who we were going to play in the final. But I remember feeling quite positive in a way, thinking we could, whoever it was that got through to the final, we could beat them. But obviously at the same time, still feeling a little bit nervous and a bit anxious about having to step out there in what was going to be a home final. So yeah, it was incredible really to think that you then hang around for 4 hours before you play your next game.
It's a weird time because there's so much going on outside. We're in the home dressing room and we have the comforts of being back in Edgbaston and just chilling out. A lot of guys went out for coffee and bits and pieces. To be honest with you, I just had a nap, mate. I was pretty knackered after that first game, and I don't think people realise how hard it is to play back-to-back T20s on a day like that, where the emotions take a lot out of you, right from when you wake up in the morning with the excitement and the adrenaline and the nervousness, I suppose, that runs through your veins, and going into the ground to finishing the game on such a high by beating Surrey in the first game. And we've got a team we know how to play against. It doesn't mean give us the right to win, but we know how to play against in Lancs, possibly in the final. I think everyone was pretty knackered, and to be honest with you, there were 2 or 3 of us just having a good snooze and trying to enjoy some downtime whilst all the ruckus was going on outside.
Yeah, I suppose it's always it's a mixture, isn't it? Because again, you're over the moon and happy that you're in the final, and then the other bit you've got quite a while to rest, and obviously it's never easy mentally then to really switch off, even though you're trying to. And but I think again, yeah, it was a bit about that. Obviously, you do a little bit of watching and scouting the game before, but you try your hardest to try and switch off as much as you can, save your energy, and get ready to go again in the evening. Yeah, and I suppose that's as simple as it can be. It's obviously can be quite tough couple of hours just to get out there. You just really want to get out and play rather than have to wait that much time.
Yeah, I think for a lot of our guys it was new, because I don't think many of us had, or any of us had done it before finals day. So a new experience. So I remember I was living across the road at the time, so I went home.
Yeah.
I just went home. I had the family up. Mrs was there, so I just went home and we just had some food and just chilled out, to be honest. Didn't watch much of the quarterfinal, the other semi-final, and then just turned up at the ground, at the back end of that game to see who we were playing, and got ready for that. So for me, it was just about relaxing. I think other guys were sort of hopping around, watching the game, watching every ball, but for me, it was quite good just to get away.
The hump's on. Gets away. Little single. Oh, he smiled at him.
It's friendly, isn't it?
He's giving one for off the mark there. Go on, you know, a single. Can have a single there. Jordan Clark, who's on the edge of the circle at mid-on.
Yeah, he takes singles all day long in the power play as a fielding unit.
You won the toss. Was there any hesitation in batting first, given our success that we'd had quite recently?
No, not really. We knew that kind of dew does play a bit of factor to Edgbaston. It can skid on sometimes on the light, but we just felt the wicket was so good that it wasn't really going to change too much. So, big game like a final, try and get a decent score on the board, and then bend it.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because nowadays most teams win the toss, and a lot of guys will chase, and bowl first, and like to know what they're, chasing. But we were very much a bat first team. I don't really remember much about Freddie being available to play, and obviously I think they had an injury that meant that he was going to play. But I remember his first over, getting belly out, and at that point you're like, oh God, like he's going to do something, like he's going to turn up on finals, in the final, and produce some sort of performance. And it was great I'd never played against him before, so it was nice to sort of tick someone off the list of who you played against. So I think he only bowled the one over, so I didn't face him. But I don't particularly remember being too nervous or worried about him playing. But I just remember when he took Belly's wicket that obviously, I was like, oh please no. But it was great to have obviously Wokesy and Belly back. But in those, on those one-off days, I suppose you can't expect too much from them, and they were just obviously they're Birmingham lads, and it was great to have them in the side. It meant that Ricardo Gordon missed out, which was a shame because he obviously had a great tournament, and one of the young, I think Webby missed out maybe. So
he did, yeah.
So it was, it's tough for them, but they had a great tournament, and they deserved them winners' medals just as much as everyone else who played the final. So
wicket all day was just perfect for T20 cricket. When people come and watch, and when people are watching on TV, they want to see runs, and that whole day was just full of runs. We set a decent target. it was almost like, you know, Freddie Flintoff was back as well. So it was almost like, you know, is this going to be Freddie's sort of time, and is it going to be written in the script for him? But luckily, you know, we stuck to it well. Laurie Evans with the bat was fantastic to give us that decent total, and then guys with the ball as well, you know, held up their hands, and I think it was Ollie got a decent wicket with Josh Butler, I think it was as well, and that sort of you know, that's a dangerous player, and when you get him out, you know, it really gives you a good opportunity of going on to win the game.
Force it having one offside, no slip. Flintoff to Bell. Straight down the ground over the top. Has he got a wicket? Oh, what a catch! First ball, the big front back. Look at this. We've seen it before.
Forget your fish and chips. First ball back, brilliant catch. It's Ian Bell, it's the captain, Horton running back. What a start.
Carl Brown, who's a catcher, it's a good catch, is this, and it is. You see there, he's not really got it thick outside edge. What a good catch this is. First ball, oh yes, we've seen that before. Don't tell him it were only 79 miles an hour.
Yeah, well, obviously, I gave him a wicket. I gave him my wicket in that game, so yeah, I kept him sweet. Okay, so keep him happy, and the rest will follow. But yeah, it's look, I've
He got taken down soon after.
Yeah, well, he did, and I think that's the thing in T20. I don't think whoever's bowling or batting, you've got to be clear. You obviously respect somebody, but again, at T20, you've got to go for it. Some days it goes over the rope for 6, some days it doesn't, and you hope. And I think we did that quite well from the, as you said, from the quarter final and then semi and final. We dovetailed quite nicely as a team. It wasn't one person, you know, getting us out of a hole. It was always different people at different times stepping up and performing. And I think that's what happened again in the final. Obviously, Woksey bowled a brilliant last over, and certainly those back overs as he's been very good for England as well in recent time, doing so as well. So yeah, it was a good game, and it's always good to beat Lancashire anyway, because I think they are. You know, they're in. We play a lot against them in all one-day comps because they're in our group, and we know how good they are. It's a big club, you know, very competitive. So I think when you beat one of the better sides in the final, you know, I think you know, it was a really good time to, or a good game. And like I said, and they proved that they're consistently in and around T20 all the time. So yeah, it was a good game for us.
Yeah, we obviously we knew he was potentially going to be involved in the day when he was in the squad. He was going to play some kind of role, and if he might have been out of the game for a little bit, but obviously he showed glimpses of what he had done before, and obviously you could have thought at one point in the final when he hit those couple of sixes, it was probably written for him, but obviously Woksey closed that out with Ollie. So, well, yeah, it's one of those things. It could have been written for him and written for Lancs, but I think we just had the edge on the day.
I mean, obviously, there was always a bit of talk, I think, through that summer anyway, that he was going to play a part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think, even looking back now, it didn't really affect anything. I think a lot of the time, I think at that stage, when like you said, from the momentum of the quarter-final, semi-final, again, a lot of it is, you know, knowing your role. And if you do your role really well, it doesn't really matter who you play against. And I think we were at that place, really. Again, I don't think what Lancashire had, obviously you do your research and you look into it, as we do for every single team. But, you know, for us at that time, again, and I think it goes for whether you've been in Lord's finals, T20 finals, and big games, if you can control your emotions and be calm in those big moments, and deliver what you know, the basics and your skill, then generally I think you'll overcome. And I think that was what I really remember. I don't think we over-focused on Fred or over-focused on Lancs too much. It's just what we could do to play the best game we could under the biggest amount of pressure in a final.
Managed to get hold of a few.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was great to play against him. I know it was obviously sort of coming back into the game after a bit of time out and things like that, but obviously a legend of English cricket. So I think, you know, like having him and Jimmy Anderson at the other end, and, you know, the guys that were on show, just made it a really fun game to be involved in. You know, you want to come across these guys, and you know, it was just really good fun facing them, and you managed to get a few in the middle.
This is the start, isn't it? Sure, I think he might have to bowl a couple. He'll get a bit stiff. Been in that wagon for a few weeks, selling fish and chips. He's looking up here, Bumble. He's looking up.
Keep waving at him from the commentary box. I don't think he's seen us. He has now. Anderson out to the attack. It's Tom Smith. Straight as does straight drives.
Yeah, 1-4 for this. Perfect shot. Changes from Horton, who was excellent in the semi-final, as the skipper has kept on asking questions of the Hampshire players and all the batsmen. He's doing the same here, just changing, rotating.
Wonder how Birmingham Bears saw Flintoff's appearance. Would it distract them? Would they say we get right into this bloke? Well, he's had it. The first over has gone brilliantly for him. He might just distract him, you know. Oh, crikey, he's playing. He's going to be the star of the show. Going to talk about him. 23 for 1. Yeah, he's in good form, Porterfield.
Yeah, he is. This is just width from Smith. Good yard outside of the off stump. Just throw everything at it as a batsman when you see this. And again, it's down to that small boundary.
Lots of these lads now slice the ball just with an open face. Leg side this time. Somebody will have to throw that back.
Yeah, just a little bit of momentum here for Birmingham. That over from Flintoff, which you just thought grabbed the moment for Lancashire. Smith's bowled one wide of the off stump and now just delivered a straight one. Real good use of the hands and the wrist to get it into that vacant area from Porterfield. Knows exactly where the field is.
Off cutter. I keep wanting to say Warwickshire, and it's Birmingham Bears. Coventry Cloggers, Wolverhampton Woofers, Smethwick Smashers. Solihull Slammers. Prince does well. Good Oldham down there. 4 overs, 33 for 1. Time for a chat with Carl Brown. Carl, terrific catch. That wasn't easy. I'm talking to you, Carl. Have you got me?
Hi, Bumble, all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. I say terrific catch.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Yeah, I mean, perfect script for the big fella.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome to have him back.
I mean, he must have been nervous. He must have been nervous coming back.
You'd have thought so, but he loves a big stage.
Tell him who's he think he is, Harry Ramsden with a chip shot. Tell him he hasn't touched 80 mile an hour yet.
I'll tell him in a minute.
No, don't. Oh, is that a no ball? It's a high full toss. He's not come down yet. Yeah, no ball for height.
No, it's that full toss again. We've seen it throughout the day. Chopra just picks it up, goes miles The biggest boundary goes well back into the stands. Baseball style.
Welcome back to Edgbaston and Bears Den TV, where the good news is it's actually dry at the moment. We're still awaiting that inspection. Now, of course, some of you will be watching on our app right now. Earlier this week, when we launched it, we ran a poll to see who was going to be the leading run scorer during this Vitality Blast campaign. I do have the results. It's a tie at the top, with 23% of the votes each. It's Sam Hain and Will Rhodes. What do you make of that? 21% was Ed Pollock. Somebody who might have an opinion on that is Brian Halford, who is with me now, of course, the club journalist. Hello, Brian. Thank you for joining us. Lovely cricket weather.
It's not great at the moment, Becky, is it? But fingers crossed we'll get some.
Fingers crossed. That's what we're going for at the moment. Now, Brian, we were just watching Finals 2014, proper glory days for the Bears. What are your memories of that day?
One of my most abiding memories, I think, is of walking around the back of the Hollies stand during the afternoon and seeing the Pope, Kermit the Frog and Rupert the Bear in a conversation, which I didn't think I'd ever see at a cricket match. But that's what 2020 Finals Day is all about, isn't it? And then, of course, the final, Chris Wokes' last over. Memorable stuff for the Bears, wasn't it? And a great day.
They were glory days. It's fair to say perhaps the last 2 seasons in T20 for the Bears haven't been glory days. They've been a bit of a struggle. Do you think this season's going to be different?
I think potentially, yes. I mean, there are some young players coming through, aren't there, that really could make a difference. They're time to establish themselves in the team now. They've made the entry into the first team last season, and as Paul Farbrace said the other week, this is the time now to start making their own bit of history and a new era to build. What
do you think of what you've seen so far this season? I know we've had limited cricket, but what are your thoughts watching the Bears at the moment?
Well, the Bob Willis Trophy obviously didn't go as well as planned, but the injuries have cropped up, haven't they? And hopefully Liam Norwell and Ollie Stone will be fit to play some part in the Blast campaign, which will be brilliant because they're both really exciting cricketers and potentially T20 match winners. Will Rhodes, terrific double century against Worcestershire, of course. He's adjusted really well to the captaincy. And let's just bring on this T20 campaign now, as Will said in the week. You know, this is a chance to have a tilt at glory. It's not looking too glorious at the moment, but let's hope that the Bears can make a good get out there tonight and make a start.
I'm going to put you on the spot, Brian. Who's your man to watch during this campaign?
I would say I'd go for Ed Pollock. I know some of the Bears fans think that he's an all or nothing cricketer, but that's T20 and that's his strategy and that's what he's told to go out and do. He's a great player and he can turn matches, and I think Ed Pollock could be all over this group phase.
You mentioned Will Rhodes there. Of course, he is the new captain this season. It's a difficult season for anyone to sort of come into captaincy. How do you think he's taken to it?
He's done really well so far. This is, of course, going to be very, very different tonight. The T20 is all about making things up as you go along to a degree, isn't it? Very rarely do your match plans all go perfectly to plan. So Will's going to have to think on his feet. It's the first time he's captained in first team cricket in T20, of course. He's done really well in difficult circumstances in red ball cricket. He's shouldered the captaincy well. He's scored runs, of course. So all the early signs are that he's going to make a very good captain. And of course, in the Blast, he's got really experienced guys like Bresnan and Bell and Patel around him, so there'll be plenty of advice out there for him to turn to as well.
What kind of a difference do you think it makes having Bresnan in the team then?
Massive difference, isn't it? I mean, it's great that there are some young homegrown players coming through for the Bears, and that's always the way the club wants it to be, but you can't beat a bit of experience as well. You've got Ian Bell in the batting lineup. Tim Bresnan's been there and done it, hasn't he? I think his first 13 test matches for England won. I think that's almost a unique record. The guy just knows how to win and knows how to succeed, and his experience will be priceless, and his ability, of course. I mean, with bat and ball in T20, his record stats stands up.
Now, you gave us a stat then. Anyone who knows Brian knows that Brian's got stats up his sleeve. I'm going to talk about Somerset a little bit. Fingers crossed if we get play, what can we expect?
Well, Somerset are a very strong side, and the stats from their meetings with the Bears over the years in T20 show that Somerset have become very strong in recent years. The first 7 meetings between the two teams in T20, Warwickshire won. They dominated the first few years when this central group was an annual fixture. Then, of course, Somerset dropped from the Bears fixture list for a while, but they have won the last 4 completed games against the Bears. The last time the Bears beat Somerset in T20 actually was 10 years ago, although they haven't played it all of those 10 years. But that one was one to remember as well, a one-run victory, an absolute thriller, which Jitan Patel turned with his brilliant bowling.
Well, fingers crossed for a thriller tonight. We will, of course, keep you updated with any inspections going forward. But let's go back to 2014.
Always takes a step leg side. Chopra just goes leg side.
No more for height, so not a freeze.
Back on that length, here they go aggressive again in the field.
He must have been listening, Bumble. It's 81 miles an hour now.
Well, they're going at 10 and over, Birmingham Bears. Chopra here again, 24 from 13.
Yeah, that fielding though from Stephen Croft, he was electric in that first game. He's brilliant at backward point. So quick, low to the ground, stops everything.
Straight, just back of a length.
Well, it's a good comeback, having been hit for 6 first ball. The dot balls to Portfield. We saw this in the first game. It was 20 of 26. Ended up with 81. 47. Likes to give himself a chance to get in.
Leg side, here comes Prince. Oh, well fielded, 37 years of age, well fielded. Run up still the same, Flintoff.
He always had the ability just to rock up in it, 50p on a length. No matter how long he'd been out injured. He's had 5 years out of the game. He's not played for 6 weeks. And look at this, he's run up straight, picking his spot in the pitch.
Good Yorker, single. Wonder how much his chips are. Do good cod, I suppose.
Haddock, £2 he was telling me.
£2 haddock.
£2 a haddock, mushy peas. Loads of chips.
Vegetable oil, a lard.
Lard.
It's a good shot, it's a 6. Great footwork and strength. 50 up after 5. Porterfield again, 17 from 10.
Well, it's that shot that he's just hit Flintoff for 6. Wide, Rob Bailey. Jimmy not happy. Just gives the umpire that stare, Jimmy, doesn't he? But that 6 that Porterfield hit off the last ball of Flintoff's over, he did it on a couple of occasions in that first game. He just slices the ball.
Unlucky, Jim. Oh. Paul Horton got a great bounce here. When you're on the move and it bounces straight into your hands.
Yeah, and quick release. Just tell from Chopper he knew he was struggling. Just couldn't get the power because he was off balance.
It's a rare dot ball.
Well, the first semi-final of the day. Birmingham reached 57 for 1 in the 6 overs of power play. 4 balls remaining. 52 for 1.
Before the quick on the feet.
Well, the partnership's now 37 off 22 balls. Both players in good form. I think it's the fact they've got different options. You can go down the ground, you can square the wicket. Both players difficult to bowl to.
Good wrist.
Yes.
Carl Brown. Just thinking, you don't get many bowlers, quick bowlers now, in 2020 cricket go around the wicket. Good pace from Anderson, 86.
Well, this is excellent from Birmingham. 1 more ball remaining at the power play. Terrific start. 4 4s, 3 6s.
Oh, what a drive. Beautiful shot. Well, the motoring. Power play has finished. 6 overs, 63 for 1.
Well, it's been good stroke play from Chopra. He loves that pick-up on the onside. There's the wicket. Freddie Flintoff's first ball back. Brilliant catch from Brown. And there's his celebration. And then Porterfield gets in on the act. Pick up once again from Chopra. That goes miles. And what a 6 that is.
Going to go back to spin then, Lancashire, after the power play. Croft with his second over. First one went for 5. I'm sure it'll be Stephen Perry from the Birmingham end. Good combination this for the Bears, right hand, left hand. Bowled him through the gate, genuine off spinner, bit of tweak.
3 for 11 in the semi-final, and he's in the act again, Stephen Croft. Been bowling wobblers. Well, this one's just a genuine spinner, orthodox off spinner. Chopra's just trying to hit it 2 square on the onside. It's a big wicket. He was looking in tremendous form. Chopra goes for 30. 64 for 2, the Bears.
A terrific start is this. .64 for 2 off 6.2. Needed that wicket. Chopra, 30 from 17. Ball by Stephen Croft brings in Ricky Clark.
Down now.
35 in the first semi-final, Ricky Clark.
Do this over, lads. Do this over now. Go. Hard.
He's away and they're pushing for 2 here. Yeah, good running.
This is where Lancashire have been excellent throughout the whole tournament, squeezing from the power play on, getting the spinners on. Croft, Parry. There you see that. Chopra just trying to work it 2 square on the onside.
Flight this time.
Yeah, you look at the fielders, you look at extra cover, you look at mid-wicket, they're getting tight. They're in the game against the spinners, really trying to squeeze.
Spreads his fingers again for that delivery. It's a good over again, just 4 from it, 67 for 2. Waterfield 25 from 15. Ricky Clark new to the crease. 67 for 2 from 7. It will be Stephen Parry, and up here it'll be Nick Knight and Paul Allott.
Super, smashing, great.
Thanks, David. Off for a lie down now.
Pass.
Some beautiful batting from Birmingham. Been a wonderful wristiness about Chopra and Porterfield especially. And Lancashire got the work cut out. You'll be purring, Nicholas.
It's a good start, isn't it? Nothing more than that.
Don't be so understated.
It's a battle up here, isn't there? Former Warwickshire player against a plethora of former Lancashire players.
Stephen Parry bowled well in the semi-final. In fact, Lancashire were really good in the field in the semi-final. Trying to decide, Nick, who had the momentum going forward, whether it was the side that had had the rest or the side that had been in the field.
Catch.
Most recently.
I spoke to Dougie, didn't I, in an interview, and he said the lads have done their own thing, really. Some had gone to the pub, he said, actually, which I was concerned by. But, some have gone home, some have stayed at the ground. Actually, the last 5 years, the winner has been the winner of the first semi-final. So that 4 out of the last 5. So it just gives you perhaps an indication that you just got a little more time to get yourself settled. I thought it was a good decision at the toss as well. Easy in a big game like this, in a 2020 game, to say, now we'll have a bowl first. See what sort of score we need to chase down. I thought it was a good decision. Have a bat first, but runs on the board and put the opposition under pressure.
From a couple of perspectives, I think Lancashire wanted to bat first. They've been winning games by
sorry, I thought Lancashire wanted to bat first. They've been winning games by batting first and then defending really well with their fielding and tight bowling. Have to do it the other way around if they're going to win today, and Birmingham got off to a really good start.
Hello and good evening. Welcome back to Edgbaston and Bears Den TV, where the rain is on and off at the moment and it's now got a bit windy. Really pleasant cricket weather out here. But fingers crossed, we're going to have the latest update from the inspection very, very shortly. We're still waiting on the umpires. Now, we've got our own Bears Den here. We want to see what yours are looking like. It's really, really easy to get involved with us. All you have to do is use the hashtag YouBears and share it with us on social media, or using the app, which is free to download on iOS or Android. Just put it on our photo wall, and we want to see some of your pictures, so do keep them coming our way. We know that you're enjoying being in your Bears dens. It's certainly probably a lot warmer than it is out here. I'm joined with Bears legend Tim Ambrose. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm very good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
It's a bit nippy out here, isn't it?
It is quite cold. I'm trying to keep my teeth from chattering together.
So we've been looking back at 2014. Take me back. Give me your memories of that day.
Oh, what a fantastic day. I'm sure anyone who was there would have thoroughly enjoyed it. I know I did. Just watching it now, I know I was pretty much a spectator like everyone else that day. I didn't do a lot. I sort of stood behind the stumps, maybe caught one or two balls, but it was great viewing. It was a fantastic day and a fantastic night, one that lives long in the memory here, so it's always good to watch.
When you sort of have those memories and you've got a recollection of that day, how much more does it give you to take out onto the pitch when you're playing a T20 match?
Yeah, it's great to have those sorts of things behind you, and it helps that, you know, we have finals day here at Edgbaston. It sort of makes this a very special place, and when you have days like that here, as you say, it keeps giving you confidence. But you know, we've had days here with full crowds like that where everyone's really into it, and you have a great result, and you know, it always makes this place a little bit more special every time you show up.
It's a little bit different tonight, obviously, because there's no one here, and on top of that, we are struggling with the weather. You've just been down in the dressing room. What's the mood like in there?
Quite relaxed at the moment, as you can tell. It's not looking overly likely that anything will happen too soon, but I would say calmly alert down there. They're quite rugged up and watching a bit of the Pakistan-England T20 that's on at the moment as well. So they're, as I say, quite rugged up and trying to keep themselves moving, but not get cold.
When you're sort of sitting down there in that environment and you're all together and you want to be out there, but you're not getting out there, what sort of things do you have to talk about? Are you talking about the game? Are you strategizing, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's on and off. There's a lot of sort of iPads around with a lot of footage of players from this game coming up, and also for the rest of the competition. So guys will always be sort of, you know, touching up on their homework and making sure they know what's going on. Other guys will have conversations in different areas, and then you also have to take a bit of time away from it, and sort of, you know, you can't be concentrating too hard for too long when you know you're going to have to switch on at some stage. So you also have to take a bit of time to relax, and some of the guys are doing that. But the coffee machine's getting quite a hit, so it's it probably needs another fill up now. So the lads they're trying to stay alert as much as they can, but as I say, not, you know, leave a bit of energy in the tank as well.
There's someone in that dressing room you know very well. His final season, he's come back in, Jeetan Patel. Your thoughts on Jeets going into his final season with the Bears?
It's hard to put into words what he's done at the club and what he means to the club and what the club means to him as well, I know. So it's great to have him back, great to have him around the squad, and it'll be great to see him out there playing. I know he's as disappointed as anyone at the moment that he can't get out there and play. He's been waiting as much as everyone else has. So it'll be great to see how he goes this year, and I'm sure he'll enjoy it and continue to give as much as he's given over the last decade or so that he's been here. But yeah, it'll be good, a good month or so for him, I hope.
I asked Brian this earlier. Who's your man to watch this season?
There are quite a few. I would say not an unknown entity, but I'd say Adam Hose is. I think from what I've seen, he's looking very good. I think his game's going forward over the last couple of years in white ball cricket. I know he's got ambitions, and I know, as I say, he's worked pretty hard. So I'm expecting to see some pretty special innings from him in the upcoming tournament. So yeah, that'd be my answer. I don't know what Brian said, but that's what I'm hoping not the same.
No, we've got two different answers. I think, we're hoping for some good innings from Adam Hose, but I think we're just hoping for an innings full stop at the moment. We are still waiting for that inspection. While we wait, let's go back to 2014.
Harry's first over goes for 6, 73 for 2. Let's go and see Isha.
Yes, I'm joined by Ian Bell. Now, Ian, of all the people you could have got out to, Andrew Flintoff, first ball of his spell.
Yeah, I was trying to hit it for 6, but
It's nice to give Freddie one early, isn't it? But I was trying to do what I did first innings in the first game, and that's 2020, I suppose.
You're just trying to remind him how hard this game is.
Oh, exactly, but it's good to see Fred back on a cricket field, isn't it? So, yeah, the game's teed up really nicely now.
Did he just stick in the wicket, or were you caught in two minds?
I don't know. I mean, Jimmy obviously knows this wicket quite well. The internationals, you can bowl a lot of cross seamers. You know, sometimes it hits the shiny side, skids on, and if it hits the seam, it can grip. So, generally, as a trade for for edge batsmen, as the game goes on, it starts to stick in and churn up a little bit. So.
Thanks for your time, Ian.
Ian Bell there. Was a little bit of bravado trying to hit Fred back over his head, do you think?
I reckon
he'll be
so.
sitting there regretting that decision, won't he?
Yeah,
there was only one winner, wasn't there?
It just wasn't the length of the hit, was it? There must have been a little bit of predetermined, I think. What a story, though. I mean, I think all of us were next door in this studio saying he's going to get a wicket first ball. It's bound to happen. I don't think we quite thought it would happen like that, but. How many times we've seen the celebration as well. He just stands in the middle of the pitch.
I thought it was just a touch muted, this one, actually. Didn't have quite the same bravado about it as 5 years ago.
That's the old Flinter. Oh, yes. Now, was there any connection with the bat that may have just saved him?
Well, it's a good decision if there was some bat in it, because it looked as though it was going straight on. Oh yeah, double hit. Just a thin inside edge. But it's that wobble ball that Croft has developed. It's not a spinner. He flicks it out of the front of the hand. Nine gone, 76 for 2. Yeah, it's a ball that he's been developing over this year, really. It's not an off spinner, it's floater or flicked out of the front of the hand. And very nearly worked. Stephen Parry starting his second over. That's the one. It's bowled a bit like a seamer, sort of flicked out of the front of the hand. Very nearly worked.
.170 is competitive, I think, isn't it? Batting first in final. What's that? Best part of 90 or 95 runs. They can get that in what? Best part of 11 overs. I think they'll be happy.
Current rate gets them to 167. You can see that. Oh, there was a little bit of bat. I think it hit Butler more than anything else. You couldn't expect the keeper to catch that. Likes to come down the track, Ricky Clark. Porterfield wanted to come back for 2. It's good fielding. Stephen Croft. Croft's played 102 consecutive T20 games for Lancashire. Oh, turn and beaten. Leg stump and the keeper, and will run away. Oh, leg buys, just a flick of the pad on the way through.
I think we're seeing just a little bit more turn now. Just a little bit of turn there. We haven't seen much turn throughout the day. Remember, there's been some heavy showers come across the ground. That's kept the moisture in the surface, but generally here, of a long day, the wickets tend to dry out.
Bowled him round his legs. Bowled him round his legs. Parry with a little bit of turn there. So Porterfield going for another sweep. Has been cleaned up. He's gone for 31.
And it was the line as well. The line he'd have wanted, Porterfield. Yeah, there's a bit more turn as well from Parry. But it should be turn that the left-hander would enjoy. The extra bounce, I think, that does for Porterfield. And continue to pick up wickets. So Birmingham are going pretty well in terms of run rate. But now have lost another wicket. 3 down now. Porterfield 31. Birmingham 84 for 3.
Birmingham 84 for 3. Laurie Evans with a batting index of 162 is the new batsman. Not on strike, but will be now after that single from Ricky Clark.
Birmingham Beck.
He's a big mate of yours now, isn't he?
No, come on.
Here we go.
Steady.
Stephen Parry over the wicket, a little bit of pad and onto leg stump from the umpire camera.
I was at a stage in my career where I had one part of my game which I was extremely good at, and that was when the time was right to start, you know, going, if you like. Yeah. I was as good as I felt I was as good as most, and I worked very hard that winter on my range hitting, my scoop shots, I just worked very hard. The bit I struggled with was the start. I was never a good starter, and so I do remember, you know, taking my time, but I kept looking at the scoreboard and I said, look, my job is to, you know, be here for the last 5-6 overs. So, you know, that's fine. If there's a few dot balls, that's fine. We're in a good position. We had a good start. So I sort of knew we were in a good position, and I wasn't too worried. And then I think the whole way through that year, because I had sort of quite a good year, I had a few games where I had man of the match performances, and I just always remember putting it down to, once you feel that it's the right time and you pick your bowler, then go for it. And weirdly, that bowler was Jimmy Anderson. I just remember I was thinking, right, I'm gonna take him on, and I don't know why it was him, but I just felt like the time was right to go. I felt like the wicket was a good one, and we needed a decent score. So yeah, I think that was, yeah, I just felt like that was it. It was go time. I'd seen enough balls, and yeah, and that was the bit of my game that I felt I was very good at. So, you know, there was no, it was like now or never sort of thing. It was like kitchen sink time.
I remember he dislocated his finger, Ambrose, as well.
Oh, get it.
So it may well be that Woakes will come in ahead.
There is Woakes with the pads on. Too short, pulled away, and finds the boundary. It's a good shot, powerful shot from Ricky Clark.
A little bit more turn in the surface, but not from that length. Just dragged down this time. Ricky Clark, who's been in pretty good form throughout the season, won't miss out on anything that short.
This is one Achilles heel, Stephen Parry. He knows he's done it again there. He just drags it down short occasionally, and got away with that one because Clark was coming down the track at him. Oh, picked that one up and flicked it away over the head of mid-wicket for 6. Another wristy shot.
Well, that is a good shot against whatever turn there may be. This is never an easy shot to play. full of power, and it's just full enough. There, just full enough to get underneath the ball.
Single brings up the 100. Really good platform now, this. Best part of 12 overs gone, but into 3 figures. Step that run rate up to 10 and over, they'll get over 180.
Nice.
12 gone now, 100 for 3.
You're down to get some ice chucked over you later, aren't you? Aren't you one of the nominees, Michael Vaughan?
Yeah, I'm not sure it's going to be me, Nicholas, to be honest. Not tonight, no. No. One
We're only
person.
doing one over.
Yeah, one today.
Okay.
Jordan Clark gets his first bowl of the day then. Star of the quarterfinals at Old Trafford. When he took 3 wickets in an over to stop Glamorgan in the tracks in a really tight game up there.
They're like Straussy, look, those drummers down there, weren't they, yesterday?
Got some pace, Jordan Clark, when he gets it right. Starting off with a sort of medium pace 80-mile-an-hour ball.
He'd be an exciting prospect, wouldn't he? Looking ahead for the next few years.
Yeah, I mean, he's a sort of in the Flintoff mould, if you like. Hits the ball out of the ground when he bats and runs in and tries to bowl fast. He hit 6 sixes in an over in the second team game last year against Yorkshire.
So what would his strength be, ball or bat?
Batting. He's only really just started this bowling lark. I mean, he's bowled medium pace and, you know, sort of slow medium, but now there's a bit about him that coaches at Lancashire think he can turn himself into a genuine fast medium bowler, maybe top side of fast medium.
Interesting as well to see how he uses Flintoff. Flintoff's got 2 left, hasn't he? I mean, going back over the years, Flintoff would bowl the last 2, or his last 2 at the death. But I wonder if that's going to be the case today. Of course. What's he played? 2 competitive games in 5 years? Good luck, Fred.
Yeah, he prides himself on being able to get those Yorkers going. So, and he's come in for Kabir Ali, who's injured, who would have bowled those last overs. So maybe just a straight swap.
Hello and good evening from Edgbaston and Bears Den TV. Now, there is a little bit of drizzle falling at the moment. The umpires have just been out, they've been walking around, and they have said that they're going to have a further inspection at 7:45. So we're still waiting on that. We're perhaps assuming that might be the final inspection of the night, but they are going to wait until 7:45. Now, we still want to see what your Bears Dens are looking like. Ours is a little bit chilly, but we want to give a big shout out to Josh, who has sent his in. Make sure you use the hashtag BearsDen and also hashtag YouBears. Looking good there, Josh. Thank you for sending that one to us. Keep those pictures coming. If you've got the app, make sure you put it on our photo wall, and don't forget those hashtags because we love seeing what you're up to out there. fingers crossed we're going to have some updates for you shortly, and we hopefully will get some play out there. But we will send you back to 2014 once again.
Now, it's a good time for Laurie Evans to be in. Games we've seen of Warwickshire or Birmingham, he enjoys batting in the last 7 or 8 overs of a game, of innings. Did it well in a game we covered a week and a half ago against his former club Surrey. Done it pretty well throughout the T20 Blast too. You can see the strike rate's good, the average is pretty good as well.
Decent slow ball bouncer to finish the over from Jordan Clark. It's 105 for 3. So 13 overs gone. Birmingham 105 for 3. Looking to really push on now in the company of Andrew Strauss and Nasser Hussain.
Thanks, Paul. Beautiful evening now in Birmingham, and this is building up nicely to a good final actually. Sun's out, difficult looking into the sun from that side of the ground, but what they do see is some excellent cricket. Lancashire sharp in the field. Some good batting from the Birmingham Bears, wristy batting. Tom Smith just the 1 over so far, 0 for 11. We all set Wasp at 165 for this final. Oh, just a little bit of in-drift there. I don't know if the ball's reverse swung in or it just nipped back in, but it surprised Clark.
Absolutely, Clark very surprised. We haven't seen a ball move straight all day. There hasn't been any swing. Now, is this a hint of reverse? I wouldn't have thought so with all the moisture and just nip.
Yeah, just the old nip backer. So he helps it to the leg side. Great effort. Saved 3 runs there. Actually saved 2 runs in the end. If anyone could, he could.
Well, he's disappointed with himself. Flintoff has such good hands. He used to gobble those up. It was a difficult chance. Way to his left, his weaker hand. He did magnificent effort, really. Difficult when you haven't played cricket for such a long time. The fielding, actually, in some ways, is as difficult, if not more so, than the skill aspect. Moving your body around, getting in the right positions, not easy.
All gone. Gave himself too much room. Slower ball from Tom Smith. Lancashire continued to take wickets.
Yeah, got the feeling Clark was trying to up the tempo here. It's 27 off 27 balls for him. He backed away, gave himself all the room in the world, but he was done by the slow ball and a bit of turn from that slow ball as well. Excellent bowling from Tom Smith. Mickey Clark goes. He scored 27 at a run of ball. Birmingham 107 for 4.
Chris Wokes comes in at number 6, and they just need to get a partnership going here, the Birmingham Bears. Still some good hitters to come. Batting index of 160. Good player, good all-rounder. But just signs now that this pitch, 3rd time we've played on it, is just starting to grip a little bit. Lots of cutters and slower balls. Just nipping around a bit as well. Or non-striker's end, there's a chance, but the throw's wild and wide. Good backing up from Horton.
Just a moment's hesitation between the two of them, Evans and Wokes. A lot of emotion out there, a lot of pressure, a lot of nerves as well. It's a big prize, this one.
Back deep in his crease. This is a good over, this, from Tom Smith.
Just getting the ball to nip around. Had one earlier. This was the slow ball that spun back on Ricky Clark, cut into him.
Yeah, just that twilight period. Ball's just starting to do a bit for the first time today. There's the pace variation, slower ball, completely deceiving Clark. Also, he gave himself too much room. Couldn't reach for it. Just a single, so an excellent over for Smith. Just 4 runs from it, 109 for 4.
Yeah, been impressed with Smith. Been impressed by the Lancashire bowling, full stop, really. Stephen Croft did an excellent job bowling his little spinners and dibbly-dobblies. Steve Parry as well. They've reined back Birmingham pretty well. It was a good start for them, 60 off the first 6. Since then, Lancashire have come right back into it.
Yeah, the bowling figures. Flintoff has 2 left, Anderson 2. But your gut feeling just for the next couple of overs is pace off the ball. Jordan Clark 1 over for 4. He'll bowl a lot of cutters and slower balls, bowling it into the surface. Birmingham Bears will realise that this ground sometimes changes quickly. And if they can just post a score, say 150, 160, you're in the game on this surface.
Yeah, and definitely with Chetan Patel and Javed as well. Ati Javed, very good job in the semi. Those 2 spin twins are going to be very difficult late at night.
Chip leg side, they'll want 2, but Lancashire have been very sharp in the field. Been a big part of their action today.
Yeah, they're a workmanlike team, aren't they, Lancashire? No massive stars. Do their job. Good fielding unit, clever bowlers. Have a very good template to play this form of the game.
Wondering if we'll get any dew later. Andrew, it's supposed to be a very cold night coming up. Just early evening, whether the dew will come down. I think Lancashire want the dew to come down. Direct hit, misses. Evans was a good yard short there.
Well, Jordan Clark made good ground off to his right. Again, hesitation between Evans and Wokes. This is the second time it's happened now. All 3 stumps to aim at. Should have done better. Got to hit those.
He's a good all-round cricketer, good athlete. Jordan Clark, as most of this Lancashire side are. They look very trim, very fit, strong young men. Changing the field, mid-wicket comes up. Just saying to Wokes, you can have a slog if you want over mid-wicket. Just not certain, these 2, with the running at the moment.
So what do you think what the Birmingham Bears have settled for, Nasser? 160?
Yeah, 160, I think. Just in a final, chasing, and you haven't won a one-day trophy for 20-odd years to Lancashire. Just get 160. 15 years, Rich tells us, they haven't won a one-day trophy, so get a score. And then you've got, I think the bowling has been excellent for Birmingham Bears this year, so just post that total. What you can't do is afford to be bowled out for 140, and you wish you'd got 20 more.
Yeah, you're right. Score on the board and then scoreboard pressure. Pressure of chasing down a score to win a trophy is not easy.
Squirted away, but again the field is in the right place, wide third man, and just dealing in singles at the moment. The Birmingham Bears 114 for 4. Need some big hits in these last 5 overs. Ambrose, who went off earlier, he's got a dislocated thumb I think it was, that was put back in. Javid and Patel give it a whack. And then the 2 big lads. Last over for Parry, 3 overs, 1 for 21. There's been the odd short ball in there. One thing that hasn't been that impressive today has been the playing of spin. I don't think any player really. Ashwell Prince played it okay earlier, where he just belted it. But in general, people haven't played spin that well.
Yeah, you're right. And those bowlers that opened the bowling with spin, they were successful as well.
That will be a wide.
Parry very much a one-day specialist, mixes up his pace well and forms a very good combination with Croft. Very different type of bowlers, left arm, right arm combination.
Oh.
When's last boundary? No boundary since the 12th over, when Ricky Clark hit a 4 and a 6.
It's amazing, isn't it? And that's it. When 2020 cricket first started, there was a lot of talk about whether spinners would be able to function at all in this game, and actually they win your games. Good spinners in T20 cricket are vital.
Catch!
It's a good shot, but again the sweeper's there, very straight. Yeah, because if they bowl well, you can actually set a field. Can't hit to spin a 360, I don't think you can dill scoop him over the keeper's head. Whereas with the seamers, I think the batting has improved so much that someone like Butler, who we'll see later this evening, can hit it 360. And seamers get it wrong. That low full toss is disappearing nowadays. Oh, edged past the keeper.
Outrageous fortune for Chris Wokes. The finest of nicks saved him. He was nowhere near this. Just evading Jos Buttler behind the timbers.
Little smile, wasn't it, from England player to England player. Wokes knew exactly what he was doing. Just pushed it past Butler. That's the boundary they needed. Punch down the ground. So that's the end of Parry. 4 overs, 1 for 30. 123 for 4.
So 4 overs left for Birmingham. Who are going to bowl these last 4? You've got Flintoff has got 2 left. Anderson's got 2 left as well, I think.
Well, I wouldn't change it. Look at the lad Clark at the bottom there. You know, you might have a gut feel that he's going to go, but 2 overs for 9. Go again. Smith, 2 overs, 1 for 14. In the old days, 5 years ago, Andrew, you would have turned to one man on that list, Andrew Flintoff. Nowadays, you just never know. So in a big final like this, go with the lads that have got you to this situation. Jordan Clark, with all his variations, the modern cricketer. There's the old-fashioned cricketer with Yorkers. Modern cricketer, slower balls out the back of the hand, slower ball bounces.
Well, one thing Paul Horton can't afford to do is play to the crowd. The crowd would love to see Flintoff bowl another couple. He's got to go with who he thinks is going to bowl best in this situation, in these circumstances. He's been working with the likes of Clark, Tom Smith all season long. He'll be less sure about Flintoff.
It's that time of day. They're all getting a bit weary in the crowd. Club leg side, could go all the way. No, 1 bounce, 4.
Birmingham backs, gives it a clobber. Good striker of the ball, Evans. Best score of the season, 69 not out of 43 balls, so he can hit it.
Goes offside. Sweeper will get there or spin slightly away from him. And Evans sprints back for 2. So just a bit of momentum here for the Bears. There is that slower ball, short ball, picked and clubbed for 6.
Now that is a cricket shot. Slower ball, to get a slow ball over wide mid-off for 6. That takes a lot of strength, it takes a lot of timing and a good base as well, and that's what Evans had. He had all 3 of those, the strength, the timing and the base. It's a short boundary, but he clobbered that straight off the middle of the bat.
Fires that Yorker in, so he went to the more old-fashioned way of getting the Yorker in. Nice to see Evans get some here. Everyone we interview or do a feature on this year has had an absolute shocker, whether it be Vince or Butler, Evans.
I think Glenn Maxwell did a masterclass as well before
Maybe
his
it's
first
just
game
Nick Knight, to be honest. He's doing Alex Hales tomorrow for the one day, as Hales no runs. Opens the face, good over this. They might think about 2. And they do come back for 2. They're going to have to hurry. Excellent over. 16 from it, 139 for 4. Home crowd have just got into this now. It's been a quiet spell, but they're going again. A good start and now a reasonably good finish. Look at those middle overs where they died away, but a good start, power play, and now a couple of tall buildings.
Yeah, that's what you want with 3 overs to play. A bit of momentum and 2 players that are set at the crease. Evans now faced 20 balls for his 24. Works 9 balls for his 11. So they're set, they're ready to go.
Jimmy Anderson back into the attack from the Birmingham City end. Debate on the field.
Just a conversation between captain and bowler clarifying where Anderson is looking to bowl here. Laurie Evans. Strong through the offside, Evans.
Morton just trying to grab the attention of someone. He got his Yorker in, but it's been whacked for 4. That's the difference. That Jimmy Anderson hasn't missed his length by much at all. He's hardly done anything wrong, but the low full toss has been whacked for 4.
They're just saying Evans looks strong through that offside, gives himself room. Mid-off is up in the circle. Lancashire might want to think about bringing 3rd man up and getting mid-off back. Difficult though, isn't it?
What they've done is just moved extra cover straighter. That was a fantastic shot. Goes leg side, mid-on's just picking it up from the crowd. Evans on the charge.
Evans is playing a belter at his brute strength. James Anderson, England's premier bowler. You're going, mate.
Goes over, backward point, can be taken, isn't taken. Had to go one-handed. Jordan Clark, it was a really difficult chance. Don't think he laid a mitt on it.
150's up. He made good ground, Jordan Clark, but difficult this time of night with the lights and a dusky time of day. Very hard to pick the ball out of the sky.
Whacked hard, but just to the fielder at mid-off who's on the edge. Nice to see these young lads just burst on the scene. I mean, he's playing against Jimmy Anderson, who he'd watched all summer, Evans, and he's smashing him everywhere.
Do you ever watch this game, Nas, and think these guys are playing a completely different game to the one that we did?
Not really, Andrew. Of course. I mean, the game has seriously changed. Ball just disappears. It really does. Wouldn't be a bowler nowadays. Don't get your lad to be a bowler.
Well, another change in the field. Third man does come up for Anderson. Long off goes out.
What this over from Anderson and the last over from Clark might mean is that the crowd will get their wish of Flintoff. Whether the captain Horton can get Flintoff loose for that one over, we'll have to see. But he might have to come on for the 20th, maybe the 19th. Not loosening up at the moment. End of the over. 15 from that Anderson over. 154 for 4. So what we thought of just sort of getting to 160 because of Evans in particular, they're going to get past that. 170, at least 180.
Yeah, and it's still hard to know what a pass score is. Birmingham got 190 in the first game and proved enough, but I would say 170 is about par. The question is, how much does that wicket deteriorate this evening? We've seen signs of turn. Will that get worse?
Past, present and future England players having a meeting there. Anderson, Flintoff, Butler. And they're going to Tom Smith, an England Lion player. Had a good year with bat and ball. Got out for first ball in the semi-final against Hampshire.
And Smith was impressive in the semi-final, bowling wide Yorkers. Seems very much the Lancashire way. Get them wide of just inside the tram lines. That might be a dangerous ploy to Laurie Evans. That looks like his strength. There's Kabir Ali. His injury meant Flintoff came in the game. A shoulder injury for him. He'd be bitterly disappointed. Being their leading bowler all the way through the season, misses out in the final.
2 overs left. Tom Smith with the 19th. Over extra cover. First ball, 6. Short boundary, but still well struck.
Not just 6, but the pose to end all poses after the shot. Evans is right in the zone.
You can tell he started at Surrey, can't you? The Surrey strut, the Surrey swagger. Hold the pose.
Oh, take a photo.
Always enjoyed those big moments. I always enjoyed playing in front of a big crowd. I always felt like I enjoyed being the guy who was looked to in a sort of, you know, we need you to perform sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I really relished those opportunities, and I mean, I was lucky that it came off in the final, but it had come off quite a lot during the competition. I remember sort of having a few games, and so the memory back, it was in the sort of memory back. I sort of felt like I'd been there before. But to be honest, when you're out there in such a big game, you're just going on instinct, really. You take no notice really of the crowd, and it just feels like another game. And yeah, I just remember Wokesy's obviously a brilliant partner to bat with, and he had a blinder as well, finished it off brilliantly. So yeah, it was just, I felt it was like my time to sort of put in a big performance, you know, on the biggest stage in county cricket. So yeah, it was good fun.
12 deliveries, holds the pose again. He's loving finals day. They have bowled length here. They haven't quite got their Yorkers right. You're talking about the wide Yorkers. He hasn't bowled them.
He tried one wide, didn't he, which went over extra cover for 6, and I think Tom Smith just lost his nerve a touch after that shot.
Gets that one in. Fielding's kept going. They're all credit to Lancashire. Sometimes when the wheels are coming off, then fielders' heads drop and balls gets misfielded, but not so far. You never know with Joss Butler in your side. Maybe Andrew Flintoff at the end. You never know. So Lancashire will keep going here. Is it going to be him with the last over? Oh, taken leg side. 2 men out there. Should be taken. Gone. Prince in the end brings to an end a wonderful innings from Laurie Evans. 53 he made, and he's turned this game just in the Bears' favour.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a shot from Laurie Evans. It was just the length of the boundary, the furthest part of the ground. He timed it well enough. Look how far that had to carry. It was a good catch by Ashwell Prince. Brilliant innings, Laurie Evans. Well played.
Yeah, I mean, that's what my job was in the team, is to, you know, get us over or get us up to a decent score or get us over a good score. So I felt like, you know, I was obviously aware of the occasion as I'm walking off, and I'm aware that obviously it's now a final, and, you know, we've got a great chance of, you know, of winning because we've got a good score. And
both innings finals days were literally like our best 2 innings of the entire tournament. Those 2 batting performances were just timed absolutely to perfection. I know we got more in the semi-final, but they were our best 2 batting performances of the whole tournament. And I think probably safe to say for quite a lot of the tournament, we'd batted first, and whatever we got, we're like, right, we'll defend it. Even if we've got 140, we'll defend that. Whereas those 2 games, it was like belter of a pitch by Gary. The lads just batted ridiculously well. So yeah, to get 2 big scores like that in the final was ridiculous. And I remember Purdy got runs again, didn't he? I seem to remember him cover driving one for 6, like 6 out into the corner. But yeah, there's a touch in finals. Obviously, I'm a bowler. You just want to get out there and do your job. So it's definitely nervous sitting there thinking, oh, you know, we've still got to bowl. You just want to get out there. So I do remember thinking, watching. Great knocks by the lads. Did Laurie get 40 off? Not many.
Laurie got a man of the match 50. Yeah.
Yeah. Laurie whacked it, which are obviously great totals. But you're definitely thinking, right, I want to get out there now. I want to go and sort of do my job.
We were actually not probably looking at a great score at one point. We stuttered through the middle overs a little bit, and then Laurie had an innings to remember. Laurie Evans played an absolute blinder. I believe he must have got 50 off as half as many balls maybe, and a little cameo from me, but I was kind of just trying to give him the strike because he was hitting it so well. But yeah, to get up to 180, like you say, batting first on what was a used pitch, so to speak, you were hoping that it was going to be a good enough score to get us over the line, but you know, it ended up being relatively close, didn't it?
Yeah, I think that was kind of, whenever we picked up momentum in the competition, it was kind of the way it was. Everyone was chipping in when we needed them to. But yeah, I think obviously Laurie played a really good innings in the final, and we had a bit of a platform set up for him to do that. And he's a very talented T20 player, so he stood up on that day, and we'll say he got 50 odd off not many in the finals. Set us up to, at the time we thought was, certainly thought with the way the day had panned out, it was probably a very good total, and I wouldn't say a lot above par, but I think it was a winning total. Obviously Brownie played a really good innings for Langston, got them very close, but won by 4 or 5 runs in the end up. So it was a great effort all around.
Laurie played really well. I think that sort of was a bit of the making of him really as a T20 white ball player. That innings. He played some remarkable shots, and to get to that total, we felt, we're in the game here.
I remember saying to Warwickshire during the final, it was like one of the best wickets I've batted on. So fair play to Gary.
Got away with a couple of full tosses here, Jimmy Anderson, but he'll take it. Just singles now, 3 from the first 4 deliveries. Just stretching off there, Jimmy Anderson. Coach will be happy. Looked like they weren't going to post 150. Now they've moved up to 173. 2 deliveries to go. There's the wider delivery, squirted away. Boundary fielder, whoa, watch his feet. They're going to have to just check that and have a look at his feet.
Yeah, my gut reaction, just touched the rope, skidded that slippery surface that you were talking about, and that's a bit of dew on the outfield. Slide. Oh, I think it just touched there. Yeah, 4 runs.
Yeah, I think maybe on a couple of occasions his heel just there once and then there twice. That's 4. Maybe a sign there that dew is coming down. So the ball might skid on a little bit. Also, the spinners might be difficult to grip. So plenty to play for here. 1 delivery to go. Anderson stretching, which is not a good sign. England play India on Monday at Bristol. But that's 3 times in this over Anderson has stretched his hamstring. Last ball hit over mid-off. Didn't get all of it, but that's plenty. Back-to-back boundaries to end the innings. And the Birmingham Bears have posted a serious total here. 181 for 5. Excellent few overs at the end. Excellent from Wokes. Excellent from Evans.
Yeah, very well-paced innings by Birmingham. They took advantage of the power play over. They got dragged back a little bit by the Lancashire spinners. Both Croft and Parry did a good job, but that back end was all Birmingham again. 1-8-1 in a final. You take that every day of the week. It's going to take some excellent batting for Lancashire to chase this down.
Far. Where's your money? Well, it's on this lot. They're having a cuddle. Get runs on the board. They've piled them on, but don't write Lancashire off. Do not write the Red Rose off.
I think what Birmingham might be considering is pace off the ball and cutters, because we've certainly seen the ball just grip on this surface even here in the evening. Now that might change if the dew comes down, but Ian Bell again came over and suggested that that might be the way to go.
Do you know, it's emerging that it's a massive advantage to be the home team. They're matter of fact, Ian Bell, matter of fact about what this pitch will do. It'll dry out, it'll stick in the turf, ball across seam, sometimes it'll hit the seam, sometimes it'll hit the smooth leather. It just means, if there's a dew tonight, it might skid on nicely for Lancashire.
Well, I'm just going to wander next door. Just let me check the grass. The dew is just starting to appear on the grass, so that might affect things as we get closer towards the conclusion of this final. It is 182 for Lancashire to win. They'll need to score their runs at over 9 and over. Andrew Strauss is with Michael Atherton.
And they'll need to make more than any team has done in a finals day chasing. It will be a record chase on finals day if Lancashire are to take home the trophy for the first time. So you'd have to say on that basis Warwickshire start this innings as favourites. They're going to start with spin as well. Atiq Javed bowled off spin nicely in the first semi-final. Lancashire had a dreadful start in the first semi, and they'll be wanting to do a little bit better this time around.
Well, Tom Smith facing exactly the same circumstance with an off-spin bowling against the left-hander. Is he going to play it differently? Bit more watchful, wasn't he?
That was the ball, wasn't it, that got him out last time? Just sliding on from around the wicket, about middle and off, sliding to middle.
Oh.
He's up and running, which will be a relief to him.
Yeah, Nasser made the point in commentary in the first innings that the play of spin hasn't been a highlight here today. There have been too many soft wickets for the spinners. It's not easy for left-handers against off-spinners in a power play over. Ashwell Prince is going to have to think about his areas. He was probably the pick of the players, actually, in terms of playing spin. He manoeuvred them around, got lots of singles.
Yeah, he took his time, didn't he, to get going. Left it to Carl Brown initially, but then started to motor in the second half of the innings. Neil Phelan Good touch, no doubt, because of that. Very leg side, if you remember the wagon wheel that we showed you from his innings in the semi-final. Virtually everything, over 95% of runs scored on the leg side.
Very good, buddy. Very good, German.
So whether that will inform Warwickshire's tactics as we go through these early overs will remain to be seen.
Well, Prince has got a slightly hooded bat face, closed bat face as it comes through, a little bit like Graham Smith, not quite to that extent. It's hard for him to hit it through the offside.
That's a pretty good example of what Andrew Strauss was talking about just then. Delivery that many left-handers might have steered through extra cover. First over has conceded 4.
Yeah, very strong grip, Ashwell Prince. Better start from Lancashire.
Yes, it couldn't be much worse, really, but you're right. Sweet Caroline belting around the ground now. It's been a long day for these supporters. They've thoroughly enjoyed themselves. It's a bit chilly now.
The golfers and the caddy, they're still enjoying themselves.
Now, Chris Wokes ran in the semi-final. He bowled at a decent rate of knots. He's loosening himself now. It's important because, as I said, it's chilly and the dew has started to come down, so conditions are not perfect, really. There's another good example of Prince's idiosyncratic technique. He's taken a ball from, what, 2 stumps width outside off stump and taking it through the leg side.
Well, with dew, the ball does tend to skid on a little bit quicker, so watch out for that while Chris Wokes is bowling.
Pulled firmly in front of square. Lancashire's first boundary.
Unsurprisingly, through the leg side for Ashwell Prince, but he's very strong there. Anything short of a length, excellent puller of the ball.
Just a bit of extra bounce this time from Wokes. Lancashire in this tournament this year have only batted second once. It's amazing, really. And on that occasion they lost. They've had a very successful tournament on 10 out of the 14 matches, finished top of the group, but by and large they've done that batting first, putting runs on the board and then squeezing with good bowling and excellent fielding. Lancashire have looked very sharp in the field. Now they've got to do it the other way. Now this should just go over cover. It does. Bell swiftly back and throwing on the turn.
Yeah, it's interesting the field Warwickshire have for Ashwell Prince, a 5-4 field, mid-wicket in place, trying to stop him hitting through the leg side, which means that Prince has got to go offside, but doesn't look comfortable doing so.
Hello and welcome back to Edgbaston and Bearsden TV, where the rain is still falling here and the umpires have confirmed that tonight's match has been postponed. So the Bears take away a point and head down the road, well, quite a long way down the road, to Cardiff for Glamorgan on Sunday. I'm with the skipper, Will Rhodes. Will, you must be really disappointed.
Yeah, it's pretty devastating. I think we were looking for a fresh start in this T20 comp after the 4 days, but I think the right decision has been made. It is very well out there, so disappointed, but I'm glad we're on the board and got a point.
For you personally, how disappointing is it to not get your captaincy kicked off tonight?
Yeah, it took a while just to get the season under with for a few months, so obviously got to wait a little bit longer, but someday should be fine. Obviously, if the weather is good down there in Wales, we should be okay.
Of course, yeah, you've just mentioned you're heading off to Glamorgan. You wouldn't normally play them in a T20 competition. Your thoughts heading into that game?
Yeah, it's pretty strange. There's a few teams who have not played in this comp in recent years in this format, so it should be interesting. Should be a good game. I think everyone's looking forward to it, and I think we should be quietly confident. We've got some good players back. Obviously, Dom's back from England duty, so it's nice to have him back. And lads are just coming into full fitness, so we'll see how Ollie Stone is and Liam Norwell are for Sunday.
Your thoughts ahead of Sunday, heading into it, confident? Too early to call it.
I think you've always got to be confident, haven't you? At the end of the day, we're still unbeaten in this comp. I know it's been a game, but we'll take the unbeaten start. Probably been better than our 4-day cricket. So we're going to go in confident. I think we've not had much time to prep, but I think sometimes that's the beauty of it, especially in T20. So, confident, and hopefully we can get that first win. Again, for you personally, 200 runs in the week. You must be feeling pretty high and pretty confident in this season so far, albeit a very strange season. Yeah, it's been nice for me personally to get the runs and actually, prove yourself as a player, and warrant yourself as that captain, as a new appointed captain. So, on a personal note, it's been great. Obviously there's people in the side who are looking for runs. Someone like Ian Bell is chomping at the bit to get out there. He's not been his usual self this year, so I'm sure he's going to have a good competition. He's working, even harder than he usually does in the nets, which is, he works hard anyway. So, if he can get some runs going, then that'll set us up beautifully. Well, thank you for coming up to the Bears Den this evening. Sorry we didn't get any play today, but fingers crossed in September when we're back, we will get some. And good luck on Sunday. Thank you very much. Cheers. So the Bears go again on Sunday, heading off to Glamorgan, and we will be back in the Bears Den in September. Thank you for joining us this evening, and see you soon.
Looking to whack that into, well, I don't know where, Nuneaton or somewhere. Might have gone so had he connected. Where is Nuneaton? That's round here, isn't it?
I don't know, but I don't know why he plucked Nuneaton out of the...
I was trying to think of a suburb of Birmingham and I couldn't think of one to hand. Decent first over from Wokes. Lancashire 11 for none. Cal Brown played pretty well in the semi-final. He got Lancashire going really after a very sticky start. Stephen Croft, that you can see for along there, very powerful towards the end of the innings. It was Prince who held things together. There's Kabir Ali in a sling. A sad end to the semi-final for him, which has cost him his place here in this final. So some sympathy for him. Well, sometimes teams just try and get one over of spin out of the way, but Warwickshire perhaps with two left-handers in, deciding that Javid's first over was a good one. They're going to give him another.
He's been impressive, Javid. 2 for 13 against Surrey. Mixed up his pace well.
Catch it, Rick.
Oh, just over. He didn't really get hold of it all that well. It was mistimed, but he hit it well enough.
Small margins this game. Michael Carberry fell in very similar circumstances in the semi-final. Just a tiny bit more from Ashwell Prince. Brings in 4 runs.
Tall man at mid-on as well in Ricky Clark. Prince goes leg side again. There is a man out there, but it's short of him at mid-wicket. Laurie Evans. Just got to beat that infield, and there's a boundary to be had. Nobody out on the offside.
Just got to be a little bit careful, Tom Smith. He's going very early, signalling to the bowler that he's coming down the crease.
comes and goes straight, and powerfully so. Expensive second over this for the off-spinner.
Well, that is the risk you take, bowling a spinner in the power play overs. Batsman does get to the crease. There's not men back there on the boundary. Not that they would have needed him. Clear the boundary rope with ease.
That's good bowling. He saw Tom Smith coming, then followed him. It was very quick, but darted in around leg stump.
Finish with you, buddy.
Lovely shot. Just cut off by Jeetan Patel out at long off. But it was nicely struck. That's a profitable over for Lancashire. They're 24 for none after 3.
Lancashire needing 158 of 102. The Wasp says a 34% chance of winning. Not out of the game by any means. Synchronized bananas.
So 1 over for Wokes, and now Ricky Clark, who was expensive, wasn't he? Jason Roy took him for a bit of hammer. That's good bowling. Ashwell Prince had moved across to the offside, looking to open up the leg side.
We just wonder why Warwickshire don't persist with that to Ashwell Prince, wide of off some, almost bring another man over as well, and just keep bowling wide out there. Difficult for him to get that ball on the leg side. Do you think it's an advantage playing the first semi-final rather than the second? Gives you more time to prepare for the final?
I was watching Paul Horton. He had a right rush between the semi and the final. First of all, they were rushing around trying to find out whether Kabir Ali was fit and then who to replace him with, and he had interviews to do and didn't even have time to write out a team sheet. So it was a bit of a rush. Warwickshire just able to take their time, plan for the game. What do the statistics say, Richard? First 6 years of the comp, the team that won the second semi won 5 times, so the statistics wouldn't say really that rushing around after the second semi is any disadvantage at all. Maybe you're warm and loose and ready to go. Four out of the 5 most recent finals have been won by the team played the first semi, so really statistically there's no advantage. Helped around. It was a slow ball, so he couldn't get the pace on it to get it past that man at short fine leg.
Well, those are what are known as useless stats, those you've just given us.
Well, useless in the sense that they don't prove there's no advantage one way or the other, but they're useful in proving that, I suppose.
Yeah. Good point, Michael.
Lights are on, darkness coming. Pretty chilly evening here at Edgbaston, the dew falling. As Tom Smith hits high and hits well. It's gone long enough as well. No matter whether the boundaries were in or not, that was 6.
Tom Smith, another player who relies on brute strength, big bat swing, gets his weight straight into the ball from the crease, and away it flies.
Yeah, they missed him in the semi, galvanising things at the top of the order, as he has done so often and so well in the tournament this year for Lancashire. So just a single to finish the over, 34 for none, 4 gone. Laurie Evans is our insider tonight. Laurie, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you.
Well played. You look to be enjoying yourself out there.
Yeah, well,
had to catch up. I chewed up a few balls at the start, so I had no reason to give it the full kitchen sink. So.
And what about this start from Lancashire? Decent start under scoreboard pressure.
Yeah, good start. These two have obviously done well for them the whole time. You know, and they've got a couple more to come, so we're going to have to just keep applying the pressure and hopefully take regular wickets. That's been the key to us all season.
Okay, good luck.
Cheers.
So the second expensive over from Atiq Javid has meant his removal from the attack. Boyd Rankin. Enormous figure of Boyd Rankin. Fit again after some injury problems. Bowled probably better than other Warwickshire seamers in that semi-final. He tried to hit the pitch a bit harder than the others, and that paid dividend.
Yeah, and his captain will want him to do something very similar to Tom Smith as well. I think Floaty hit that deck hard.
Just like that. You know, I'm trying to think, is that the first bouncer we've seen all day?
Been a few slower ball bouncers, but the genuine pacey bouncer we've hardly seen at all. And it's not like this pitch is slow, that's carried through fine. Rankin obviously at an advantage with his massive frame and height. Surprising we haven't seen more of it.
It's a good start, this from Rankin. The man out is at deep square leg, so although he's got fine leg inside the circle, he can hit the deck knowing that Smith looks to pull a shortish ball. He's got a bit of cover out there. The men out are at deep square leg and third man. Once again, the splice of the bat because of that extra pace and bounce from Rankin.
Yeah, good length, that heavy length. Always talk about heavy length. That is it, just back at the length. With the rising ball, it makes it hard to control as a batsman.
That's a fantastic shot. Whereas Smith has looked to go leg side, Ashwell Prince has sized up the situation pretty quickly that Rankin is going to hit the length that Andrew Strauss is talking about, and there's no man out on the offside.
Good thinking, good execution. Knew exactly what Boyd Rankin was going to do. He had a plan in place to counteract it. Smart cricketer, Ashwell Prince.
Yeah, the line is fine. With Prince, you want to be bowling slightly fuller length and pushing it across him. Better. It's a good shot, wasn't it? Very inventive, but the man is out there, Laurie Evans.
I think he might have just premeditated that one a little bit. Hit it well enough in the end, straight to the fielder.
It's a decent first over from Rankin. 40 for none, 5 gone. It's a good sight, isn't it? Edgbaston under lights with a full house, enjoying a splendid day's cricket. Lancashire are 40 for none. They're chasing 182 to win this year's NatWest Blast. They've had a great time. Wokes replaces Ricky Clark.
Lancashire marginally behind Birmingham at this stage. Birmingham were at 62 for 1, but Lancashire will be happy. No wickets down. The likes of Butler to come in later on. It's all about laying a platform.
I'm trying to think of some of straight up in the air, should be gone. Laurie Evans takes the catch. Straight up in the air, not simple under lights, but that's about as easy as it can get. And Warwickshire have struck.
Tom Smith persisting, trying to hit it to the leg side with that big swing of the bat. Wokes tucked him up, was an excellent delivery, and Laurie Evans did the rest. Simple catch for him, he's having a great day. Important wicket for Warwickshire, important wicket for Wokes. Tom Smith goes for 19, Lancashire 41 for 1.
.41 for 1, Laurie Evans the catcher, Wokes the bowler, and Tom Smith the exiting batsman. Usman Khawaja comes to the crease at number 3. No runs for him in the semi-final. Be looking to make amends now. Runs here, at least a couple.
Another look at the dismissal, that heavy length we talk about. Tom Smith in no control of that shot. It was the line more than anything that tucked him up for room. Laurie Evans hands up, safely in. Just watch out for Ashwell Prince. I saw him in the field stretching his hamstring. Did a lot of running in the semi-final, a lot of scampering between the wickets. He's having to repeat the dose here. Just wonder if he's tweaked his hamstring a little bit.
Just looking at Varun Chopra, who's about to put himself in at slip, I think, for the new man, Khawaja.
Yes.
He's off the mark. So that finishes the 6th over and the power play. 45 for 1 Lancashire. Birmingham Bears 63 for 1 at the same stage. Very decent start that Lancashire made, actually, under some pressure. Atiq Javid bowled a couple of overs of off-spin. Tom Smith dealt with him harshly down the ground and then repeated that. That was a good shot from Ashwell Prince, sizing up the length that Rankin was bowling, and then the one success that the Bears have had when Wokes picked up Tom Smith, taken at backward point. 45 for 1 then, so Lancashire 20-18 in arrears to Birmingham at the same stage. Jeetan Patel warming up at mid-off. I think he's going to have a significant role to play here. You couldn't say the conditions are in his favour, but spin has played an important role today, and Jeetan Patel's a really good practitioner of his art in this form of the game. How he bowls, how Lancashire deal with him, it's going to have an impact on the result of this match.
Well, that was well bowled by Rankin. He saw Ashwell Prince moving across his crease, but Prince did well himself to adapt his shot to the wider delivery. Ashwell just moved across early and then changed his shot. Good thinking.
What does the Wasp say? 17% chance Wasp. The winning score predictor at this stage gives Lancashire, it's gone to 15% after that dot ball. Basically saying that from this position in the data that we have running back to what, 2009, 15 times out of 100 a team chasing in this position 47 for 1, chasing 182 would win the match. Warwickshire strong favourites, say the stats at the moment.
Good mixing from Boyd Rankin. Usman Khawaja, good puller of the ball. Rankin will know that, so he's erring fuller of a length to Usman Khawaja. He's also noticeable, he's got 2 men out. Deep square legs a long way behind square and fine leg in position, so he knows where Khawaja's strengths are.
That's the way he's looking to go. One thing, those statistics, they don't take into account the fact that somebody like Joss Butler is waiting in the wings. They can, a player like that can make statistics look very silly at times.
Well, if it's based on historical data, it's based on the likes of Nick Knight and Nasser Hussain and Andrew Strauss.
There he is, waiting in the wings. Now, is that a no ball? I think it is. Yeah, Michael Goff signals a no ball. There is a bit of dew. Maybe the ball is slippy. It certainly wouldn't have been. Deliberately sent down by Rankin. There's who bowled one? Flintoff bowled one, didn't he? That was pulled away for 6 by Varun Chopra.
Yes.
Seven done, 50 for 1.
Was there a thing that we had about batting first? Was there generally a preference that you feel because of it? I mean, you look at those big 3 games that you have of quarter-final, semi-final, final. We batted first in all of them, and it seemed like we were able to. We had confidence to get big totals and then put the squeeze on as well.
Yeah, I think we just had all bases covered, so I'm not sure it completely mattered. I know going into the final, it had started to grip a little bit. We obviously had Jeets and Teak Javelin, and the likes in the squad, so we knew we had every base covered. So I think batting first in the final was quite a big thing, and especially when we got the runs on the board. That was obviously still a close game, but I think the other 2 games in the build-up, they were just pretty good pitches. Like when the finals day started off, it was a really good pitch. There's a lot of runs scored throughout the whole day. Down at Essex as well was a really good pitch. So they were always going to be quite high scoring games. I'm not sure. I think it might have been 190 we got down at Essex as well, and they came like relatively close in the end up. So I think it just the fact that we good batting surfaces helped the whole way around.
And just a little bit of turn.
Yeah, we saw Croft and Parry just get the ball to grip into the surface in the first innings.
And a little bit of bounce too for the spin, and the bounce helping the batsman on this occasion.
Much needed boundary for Lancashire. They've got to get a move on. We cried weight at 10.11. What's this just rush away from Ricky Clark? Top spinner.
Catch it!
I think he could have done better there. And Dolby, in the end, he saves 2 runs, but I wonder if he could have saved another one. Atik Javid did well too.
Yeah, I think that's fine. You can see from the way that he slid there that there's just a little bit of dew arrived over the last half an hour here at Edgbaston.
What is it now? 8:45? How you going, Mick? First finals day?
Long day, innit? We come to life though, don't we? The Rolling Stones at this time.
Oh. That looked pretty close. Nothing from keeper and nothing from Jeetan Patel. Perhaps there was some bat in it. Let's have another look at it. I'd say that's very close. Is there any bat in that? More spin. And an excellent start. 8 off the over, 58 for 1. Any bat there?
Yeah, big one, yeah. Right at the toe end of the bat. Again, a bit more backspin. But I think Patel will be quite happy what he saw in that over. That first over that he's bowled. I know he went for 8, but he saw a bit of purchase.
So Boyd Rankin to continue. I thought he bowled well in the first semi-final. 4 overs, I think none for 26, but bowled well. Make that 4 overs, none for 27. It's a little bit shorter this innings. I know some of our expert bowlers were saying that the pace of the pitch here, surprised that the faster bowlers haven't bowled the old short one, where you can see their percentage 64% from Boyd Rankin. Short again, saw him coming. I think that's why it was dragged down.
Yeah, and it's difficult for the batsman because you see that delivery, it doesn't really come out of the surface. Loops through to Timmy Ambrose, and you'll see him bowl another ball. It's a similar spot and it flies through, so it's a little bit too paced. If you're bowling from this height, you've got to let the batsman know every now and again, haven't you? Just fire one down. He bowled a good bouncer to Tom Smith. Not every ball, you've got to mix it up. Look at the size of it.
Yes.
Good idea. Man from deep fine leg had just been brought up. That's why the shot was attempted. Nearly a mix-up. Now then, Mick, what about this for a view? Lovely Birmingham. City of Birmingham in the background. The lovely E. Have you noticed the E's here? These floodlights?
Yeah, I see that. I can just see Broad Street there in the background.
Yeah,
it's flashing.
That'll be buzzing now tonight.
Flares, they'll be dancing in there.
What a stadium, eh?
Yeah, I think you can be proud here. I think most of the venues, you look at Old Trafford now, I think Marvellous, Edgbaston. But the best of them all, obviously, Headingley. Beautiful. Western Terrace.
Dragged on. The extra pace of Boyd Rankin working. And that's a really important wicket. He had runs in the semi-final, and he had a good start here, 30. That won't go on.
Yeah, you always count yourself a little bit unfortunate when it goes back onto the stumps. Prince just couldn't quite get going. He played a great hand in the first semi-final. Well, 30 off 24. Lancashire now 62 for 2.
Number 14, Carl Brown.
Carl Brown has been in pretty good form in one-day cricket this year. That rate is now up just under 11. Batting index is good. Of course, that's the combination of your average and your strike rate. Strike rate's going to be key here. Excellent over, 5 runs from it, and the wicket, 63 for 2.
Yeah, it's good bowling from Rankin because he sees Ashwell Prince manoeuvre himself to the leg side. He just throws it a little bit wide. He's trying to force him to play on the offside because he does like to favour that onside Prince. Excellent start from Rankin, 3 overs 1 for 16. He's the one seamer today that's bowled with a bit of aggression. He's getting good rewards for it. He's hitting the pitch hard. And we've seen the bowlers try and get it up there. Bowl, full bowl York as well. We've seen plenty disappear into the stands. Well, Rankin's just run in and said, oh, I'm tall, I'm just going to hit the pitch as hard as I can.
Gene de Patel then to continue.
Catch it.
Oh, up a long, long way. Don't think it's got the distance. Oh, would you believe it?
Something about that day, or that final, because the ball just kept following me around. Obviously, Wokesy, I took the first catch, and it wasn't a particularly hard one, but I just remember being really nervous underneath it. And
yeah,
I don't think I dropped any catches through the whole tournament. And then obviously I dropped Carl Brown on naught off Sheets. And I just, at the time, I would hate, no one likes dropping catches, and but I didn't know obviously how much of an effect it was going to have. So at the time you're sort of thinking, okay, it's fine, we'll get another chance. And then obviously he just started banging the ball into the stands. And Jeets gave me that death stare, and I was like, oh my, what have I done? Like, surely I'm not going to cost us the final, sort of, in a way. Like, that drop catch could have cost us the final if he'd went on. And fortunately, Wokesy, got him out when he did. I think it was Wokesy who got him out when he did. So, yeah, there was a good, 10 overs there where I was a bit away with it. I took a catch off Boydie sort of almost like the next over, which was mad because again, I felt like the ball was following me, and to be honest, I was in a state of I just need this guy out, and then I'll feel a lot better. And obviously the more he pounded it into the stands, the more I felt awful. So I wouldn't say I was in the moment for the whole 10 overs, to be honest. Like, once that catch went down, I was very much conscious of what the implications might be. And I think, obviously, if I did that now, I wouldn't be as, I wouldn't affect me as much probably because I'd know that obviously I'd need to make sure I was still focused and, doing my job. So because it was such a big occasion, I went very quiet for about 10 overs until he was out. So yeah.
Bending the knees. This is what I like, this moment. Look at that. What are you thinking there, Nick?
I'm thinking, what am I doing?
What a jacket. Look at that for them threads.
What's going on with the lips here? What are you doing?
Micking it, look at that. Beautiful, Jack. Got it out the back. That'll be coming back with me.
It's just your best. You bought that from home. What are you on about? Oh, dear.
All the way, picks out the man in the deep. This time it's safely pouched.
Well, as so often it happens, the ball just follows you. Third chance for Laurie Evans. It's the second that he's taken. And Big Boyd knocking the ball into the surface. It works.
I remember I think they got a couple of boundaries away off me from memory. And then, I managed to get like Prince, who was obviously a big wicket for them, and then like Khawaja as well. So it was great to obviously pick up those wickets and try and stem the flow of runs as well at the same time. But obviously Wilkesy at the back end there against Flintoff, he obviously held his nerve, managed to nail a couple of Yorkers, and I suppose like the rest is history. But it was just a great like occasion. I still remember standing down at third man, fine leg. I think it was third man down at the new stand, just like behind me, and I just looking around. The place was absolutely packed, and they were all singing Bear songs. And I was thinking like I can't get much better than this. So it's probably up there as obviously one of the best days that I've played cricket in. Just the sheer fact it was a home finals day at Edgbaston, packed house, and that like atmosphere was like unreal.
Yeah, I think the semi-final and final went for 20 odd and on each innings. So he had a great day as well. I'm not sure. I know he picked up a couple of big wickets. He might have got. You get Prince and Khawaja in the.
Yeah, Prince and Khawaja
in the final. Not sure if he got in the semi-final, but I remember he didn't go for many runs. Especially after J-Roy got off to the start he did in the final, kind of put us in the back foot. And it must have been 80 or 90 for no loss in that semi. So he had a great day as well. And those are the things that kind of go amiss. When you say it's a completely team effort, there's might have been a couple of standout performances, but that as throughout his 8 overs of the final was a pretty special effort as well.
Latter stages as well.
Yeah, well, Boydie was one of those guys who, he probably he didn't enjoy bowling in the power play, so we just decided to use him outside the power play. And all of a sudden, you had batters coming in, and you had 5 guys on the boundary, and Boydie's running in and bowling as quick as he can, and it's uncomfortable, and you've got to clear the guy, to clear the road. And I just remember him taking a lot of catches out in the outfield, and that was just a brilliant bit of, Chops deserves a lot of credit as well. Chops is a really sound tactician, and I remember him going a lot with his gut instincts all the way through that, and it paid off a lot of the time, and he led the bowlers really well. So Boydie had a great tournament along with a lot of other people as well.
Yeah, obviously Boyd always brought something different to the table, where you can have your mid off, mid on up, for example, and he can just hammer the wicket and say, look, if you want to take me on and pull me over square leg for 6, good luck to you. So he brought something different to the team, and I think just his presence and just point of difference in attack created wickets for us. I think he got Ashwell Prince that day, which was obviously a massive wicket for us and also for Lancashire's key batsmen. So that wicket was huge, and Big Boyd. No, I should have caught it. Easy catch.
We enjoyed the fashion shoot.
Sorry, mate?
Enjoyed the fashion shoot. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it, yeah.
you know what you're calling you, don't we?
Yeah, I know.
I know what.
Don't start.
Birmingham Becks, you see, isn't it? Hey?
Right, I'm going to have to concentrate here.
Javid back on.
No!
Let's get back to Laurie. Well played.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Had to, you know, give it some at the end. So.
Cool. That is a super strike. Just too short. Not a lot of pace on the ball either, and whacked out of the ground for 6. Don't give up here, Lancashire. Still in at 89 for 3.
Nah, certainly don't give up. Just look at Birmingham at a similar stage. 93 for 3. Lancashire 89 for 3. Fast hands from Carl Brown.
Down. Right hand, Choppy, right hand.
Good hand. This is still game on. Wasp is saying 11%, so Wasp is saying very little chance of chasing this target down. But with Brown batting like this and Butler just fresh to the crease, that man there will know this is still game on.
Touch it, Chop.
That'll help too. That'll scoot away quickly off this slightly damp surface. Yep, Fred's to come still.
Just watch this, the power. Full toss, that right hand, his tennis shots. That's all they are, topspin tennis shots.
Enjoyed the demo you did with him. Incredible power that he gets. This time short, won't find the gap.
Yeah, I was staggered, you know, standing a yard from him, just watching him hit balls and the power of which he hit them all, and the areas which he could hit, the angles which he could change, whether it was with the bat, with the field.
Yeah, make it 4 more. Too short this time from Atik, and that is an expensive over. 17 runs from it, 8 to go, 99 for 3. Just bear in mind that at this stage Birmingham were 100 for 3, so nothing in it bar 1 run. Lancashire 1 run behind, same wickets.
Well, that feels like a momentum changing over. Lancashire will need a few more of those, but they were so far behind them. That over's just got them up there. Just under 10.5 required for Lancashire to win this game. 83 off 48.
Into some sort of context, this would be the best run chase in a final. So 182 is a big score in a final. Oliver Hannon-Dolby generally bowls at the death. He's bowled well for Birmingham the latter overs.
Yeah, I think we're going to see plenty of these off-cutters from Oliver Hannon-Dolby. The 100 up for Lancashire.
Where's your money, mate?
Always prefer runs on the board. Butler gets over 30. I think he'll take them home.
So you'll let us know, what, in 20 runs' time?
Yeah, I just think if Butler gets a score, I think he'll see him home. If he doesn't, I think Lancashire will fall quite a few short.
Croft, Horton, Clark, Flintoff. Plenty of batting still to come. It's good, isn't it? Just sees him making a little bit of room for his brave as well, because you're offering up the width.
Yeah, he's got all his field on the boundary on the onside. Fine leg back. He's now bringing fine leg up. Square leg back. Cow corner. Long on. He's just taken long off back. So he's got third man backward point, extra cover, and fine leg in the circle.
Right on.
You just look at the paces that he's bowled. He's bowled one at 77. The ball before was 65. So that's all he's going to do, Oliver Haddon-Dolby. Just keep changing his pace, ball into the surface. Try and get the batsman a hit to that big side.
Bowed down the ground, but long on is well placed. It's an excellent over, isn't it?
Well, I think that's the ball that he's bowling for. You know, he's got his field set, bowling into the surface, taking pace off, and he's saying to the batsman, all right, you can play the big shot, but I've got my field set perfectly. You just feel that Lancashire need a boundary this over.
It's fair enough. I think what happened there was Jos Buttler moved very early, went leg side of the ball, and Oliver Haddon-Dolby said, no, I'm not having any of it. Edge, yes. Edge and taken, easy catch for Tim Ambrose, and what a wicket that is for Birmingham Bears.
Huge wicket. Again, the pace has changed, 78 miles an hour, ball before 67.
Yeah, I mean, I've never played against him much, really. So I was just trying to keep it simple. I remember Al Richardson was the coach at the time. We just had real simple plans. And again, thanks to Varun Chopra, stitched me up again. I just bowled all 8 overs I bowled that day were all at the death. So bowled 4 overs from one end at the death again. And yeah, Jos Buttler was on strike. And I remember thinking, you know, my options that day were to try and mix it up a little bit, take a bit of pace off, a few Yorkers and whatnot. And I started with the slow ball, and it was a wide. Slow ball wide, so I thought, oh God, that's a rubbish start. But yeah, I can't remember what, but it just nicked one. Like, it was just a regulation ball, top of off, just nicked it early on, which is obviously a great feeling. There's a brilliant picture, actually, I've got at the time, where it's just nicked off. I'm just going like this, celebrating. And there's a picture of Jeets behind celebrating. And I swear the look on his face is more surprise than celebration. He's like, what? He's nicked off to him? Where he looks more surprised than he does happy. But yeah, you know, I just remember him obviously just nicking one. It wasn't a brilliant ball. It wasn't, you know, didn't do all sorts. Just luckily he tried to do something he shouldn't with it, and he nicked it.
Yeah, he's got a knack of getting the star players out in big games, Ollie, hasn't he? Little nick-offs, landing in the right area, which is what he does. But yeah, I remember that one well. I think, to be honest, that was you know, something we talked about with Jos, that we felt if we could get him driving early, then possibly have a chance of getting him out. That was certainly a plan of attack. You don't have many balls early on to try and get him out, so you've got to be on the money. And you know, Ollie, as ever, did his job perfectly.
Jordan Clark, Andrew Flint. Odd to see Andrew Flint off, isn't it? Down there at 9.
Bit of hey Jude. They've had a long day in the stands. Just coming to life, look at them, sing away.
You left them your tickets, didn't you? Those lads, your mates are in. Ricky Clark's back into the attack. Just 1 over for Ricky so far. 10 runs off it. Anyway, will do.
Oh, big boy got himself in a right pickle here. Slow ball from Ricky Clark, glided down to third man, simple stop. He got his legs in a tangle. What's this? Hey! It's a long way down.
It was notable sort of during that second, that sort of defence of our total is we always seem to have control. We always seem to be able to take a key wicket when it mattered.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was always in control, mate. The game's
Hmm.
never in control in T20, and one guy can take it away from you. And Carl Brown tried to do that to us, and he almost did.
Yeah.
But look, I must admit, we dropped a couple of chances. We weren't probably at our best, but however we created and we kept creating, and it was almost, if we look at a blueprint going forward, it was almost the blueprint we should be looking at. Trying to get 60 in the power play and then going from there with the bat, but also with the ball, how many opportunities can we create, how many wicket-taking opportunities, and like you said, every now and then they just got this little partnership form, boom, we'd get another wicket. And it didn't matter who it was or who was doing what. It was actually very well shared round. And I think that was why, though, that game especially sticks to my mind, because we had to do it as a unit. There wasn't one guy. Like 2020 can be won by one person or one moment. That took a lot of moments from everyone, and Laurie's innings in the first innings, but also the way that Warwickshire held his nerve in that last over. A couple of decisions went our way. It just, the crowd got on our back, and all of a sudden, we're the favourites, and it was quite nice to be in that position at Edgbaston.
How did you feel with the crowd? Because I mean, you mentioned it on the sort of back of it. Did you feel like it was a home crowd, or did it feel completely neutral in many ways? And that maybe in that final, a few were cheering for Freddie, for example.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's obviously going to be crowd favourites and bits and pieces, but ultimately, I think because we'd beaten Surrey and the Surrey guys were there, and we were up against Lancs who won their semi-final, and we were at home. I think a lot of people did jump on our back, and we also had the knowledge of everyone that was working there was ours. So everyone that and the staff and the backroom staff, even security guards and people that are running the stalls, they're all Birmingham supporters, Warwickshire supporters. So it was just fun, to be honest with you, to do this at home. We're very lucky to be able to have that opportunity, and it's amazing to think that I don't think on paper we were the best team, but that's not how that competition works. It's about winning at the right time, and we proved that by getting the way we qualified, but also the games we won leading into finals day.
With you saying about the best team, I mean, I had this chat with Laurie the other day, is sort of 2015, there's no doubt in my mind that we were the best team in the tournament, but we just came unstuck in sort of 10 minutes of that semi-final on finals day.
Yeah, look, I mean, and again, that's cricket, isn't it? It's momentum that just gets on top of you, and all of a sudden the game changes. It's pressure, it's all sorts. But they're the lessons we need to learn. And that the year before in 2014, we had the excitement of winning, and we were always on the right side of those situations. However, the next year we weren't, and for us, it's about taking those experiences as a club and using them again, but then to our advantage, and understanding what it's like, knowing that we've been there before, we've been in those precious situations, and this is what it looks on the wrong side of it, and this is what it looks on the right side of it, and hopefully those memories will bleed into those guys that are coming through as well, because now it's going to be their opportunity just as much as it is mine to want to repeat that situation again.
What do you remember of the celebrations afterwards?
A lot, actually. I remember shaving off my beard, my beard, and just leaving my moustache for the evening, just to try and reminisce an old school cricketer. The odd cigar here and there. I think there was an ice bucket challenge. Someone did an ice bucket challenge. It was actually really good. Both teams were in the changing room for both teams were in the changing room for a little while, and we shared a beer and about the day, and it was almost in some ways a relief, because we'd spent so much energy throughout that day. It would have been such a shame to be on the wrong side of that result. And like I said, no, everyone had written us off, and we weren't there to prove anyone wrong. We were probably just there to prove ourselves right. Show to ourselves that we could do this, and if we played, we didn't need to play perfect games, but we need to play games that merit exactly how we wanted to play games. The plan was right, and again, you know, the guys throughout the tournament who had stuck their hand up at the right time did it again that day as well. And you need those people to win games. And it was a really cool night, mate. Just to hang out with the lads. The partners were there. Some of the kids were in. It was the staff were in. It was really nice just to kick back and go, wow, what have we done and what's to come? Because what eventuated that year was a bit of a shame how it all petered out. But we were sitting high and flying high that year as well.
And it was, I mean, I spoke with Laurie, that team during that period, it's a real legacy for the club. I mean, 4 trophies in 5 years and 2 Lords finals alongside that and a second place championship as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's rhythm, isn't it? That's how it works. It's not always going to be that way, but when it is, when the iron's hot, you have to strike, and I think we did that really well. We had some great leadership around the club, and I think we have that again. And that's what big clubs do. They constantly pressure titles. They constantly push for what could be. Last year wasn't our best year. However, what it does is sets us up for another good year this year. And going forward again from that is understanding those experiences and then being able to use them again, because we're in a really lucky position where we have a really balanced squad. We have some senior players, yes, but we have a lot of young guys coming through that have taken their opportunities, have got some experience, and now can really push on for careers and win games for Warwickshire and the Bear, which is going to be huge because, you know, there's going to come a time where not all of us are around. And that means England call-ups, that means retirements, that means, whatever the case is with people's contracts, as the game is. So it's really important that that core group stay together and make sure they keep pushing others to do well, because I think we can emulate that again in another patch at some point.
I think if you look at the whole tournament, I think the whole tournament was like that. There's people like Chris Wright who'd done a great job early in the tournament. I don't know if he'd picked up an injury or if he was just being rested for red ball. Barks as well. I don't think Josh Poison wouldn't have played that year, would he? I think he probably played the year after.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah,
I think that was sort of the theme of the tournament, you know, that it was a massive squad effort. It'd be very interesting to see how many of the squad actually played the whole tournament, but it was definitely, when you look at the picture of us all celebrating, almost everyone played a game, which is, you know, it's a great effort from the whole squad. But as you mentioned, the bowling effort on that finals day was brilliant.
Might have cut this off, but because he's back on the circle there, he gets through. I think extra cover. I think that's Chopper himself has to come in. Look how deep he is there. I think Chopper's got to come in and cut the angle down, but he's staying back, which means there's a bigger gap.
£280,000 for winning this.
What about the money, Bumble?
It helps. It helps. What are you on about?
Well, he's thinking about cash, aren't you?
I am. You'll be making a comeback soon. 280,000 smart ones. But huge appeal. Huge appeal. Oh, he's giving him. Oh no, you can't do that. Oh, you can't do that. You've got to go. You've got to go.
No, it's not good from Horton. It might not be a great decision, but he's got to go. He's just got to walk off. Rob Bailey's given him out on the field. He doesn't agree with it, obviously, but he's got to go. It shouldn't take that long to walk off.
Well, his frustrations have spilled over here. He's been given out. It's a huge appeal from the keeper. He's been given out, and he clearly thinks he's not hit it, but you've just got to go. No, no, Paul. Jordan Clark, new batsman, and they'll keep coming. Oh, there's nobody talking to him either. He's messed up. Oh, huge appeal again. They're going to have a look here. Danger player, this guy.
Yeah, this one didn't turn. And Ambrose just wondering, did he lift his back leg? Did he drag it out? He dragged it out, but I think he's just turned it back in.
This is good from Jordan Clark. He's out there, but just screws it back in. And he's lifted, hasn't he? When the bails are off, he lifts to go back. He's okay. I say he's a dangerous player. They'll keep coming. They need 57 from 27.
How did you feel with the crowd? Because I mean, you mentioned it on the sort of back of it. Did you feel like it was a home crowd, or did it feel completely neutral in many ways? And that maybe in that final, a few were cheering for Freddie, for example.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's obviously going to be crowd favourites and bits and pieces, but ultimately, I think because we'd beat Surrey and the Surrey guys were there, and you know we were up against Lancs who won their semi-final, and we were at home. I think a lot of people did jump on our back, and you know we also had the knowledge of everyone that was working there was ours. So you know everyone and the staff and the backroom staff, you know, even security guards and people that are running the stalls, they're all Birmingham supporters, Warwickshire supporters. So it was just fun, to be honest with you, to do this at home. We're very lucky to be able to have that opportunity, and you know, it's amazing to think that I don't think on paper we were the best team, but that's not how that competition works. It's about winning at the right time, and we proved that by getting the way we qualified, but also the games we won leading into finals day.
Yeah, it certainly felt that as well as players. I think, you know, those finals days at Edgbaston, the crowd is obviously very split. You've got quite a lot of people there just out on the lash to watch some good cricket. And then also you've got 4 different sets of supporters following the teams that have made it. But I think I remember vividly that crowd at the end, towards the back end of that game, especially in the final, being quite Warwickshire dominant. And I don't know whether that was, you know, some of the other teams' supporters just wishing us on, or it was genuinely a lot of Warwickshire fans. But you certainly felt it from a player's point of view. We had that extra bit of support from the home crowd, and I just remember thinking we need to get over the line here, winning a home final at Edgbaston. It probably doesn't get any better than that.
T20 finals day, to win it and also do it in front of your home crowd, it's unbelievable. It was good for everyone who came to watch and the locals, and because they've been supporting us throughout the season quite well, and then to do it at home, it was massive. When in the final, when Freddie got going a bit, I didn't know if we were playing at home or we were playing out away. So, but apart from that, I think playing at home is a special moment. Being proud, like coming through the system of Warwickshire and representing Warwickshire through a young age and winning a trophy that Warwickshire haven't won before, I still remember it like yesterday. 2
for 14 off 2.3. Federer and a stormtrooper. They're only kiddies, aren't they? And it'll be freezing out. That was in the dugout. He was absolutely freezing. Protecting the boundaries here. They'll look for 2, but it's just a single.
That's why Wokes had come in a few on that side to protect that 2.
.45 from 20. Lad behind the stormtrooper there. He's listening to somebody. Who's he listening to? Behind the stormtrooper. Clothed it. Top of the bat, just one bounce. Still just a single. From 19, Wasp, 4%. Bowled well. Bowled very well, Alan Dolby. 17 have been bowled. 139 for 6.
3 overs, 2 for 16. Alan Dolby just gone for the 1 boundary. No wonder he's smiling. In a high-scoring game, that's a fantastic performance. Whether they'll bowl him out, 4 on the bounce. Flintoff awaits.
43 from 18. 6 bowlers used. Excellent stuff from Boyd Rankin, 2 for 21. Alan Dolby, 2 for 16.
Spinners have been the most expensive there. Maybe just with this damp ball, they're going to go with the seam-up option. Still in this game, because with a wet ball, you never know. You miss your lengths. We've already seen a lot of low-full tosses. So Birmingham still have to nail their skills at the end of this game.
Proclaimers are on now. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Strong shot down to long off. Where was it? We're at that airport. A punter, one of the lads, one of Barmy Army, I think. He said, "Hey, you do look like one of the Proclaimers." I said, "Hey, one of them. Identical twins."
Did you just make that up?
No, bloke at the airport. Oh, that was in the slot. Pulled it away, leg side, just a length ball coming back for 2. Good running.
Needed a direct hit. Porterfield had only one thought on his mind: direct hit, get the run out.
Need a huge over. Lancashire Lightning need a magic over. They need a 20. Slow bouncer. Larruped. And the groundsman shed. 50 for Brown.
Yeah, it could still be an expensive drop. Laurie Evans dropped him on 1 at long on off Jeetan Patel. So Laurie Evans will have his fingers crossed that this is not a match-winning half-century from Brown. He's played beautifully, 51 in 26 deliveries.
This is developing now, this over. 9 from it, 3 deliveries to go. That's a huge hit. Groundsman's hooked.
Only 3 behind at this stage. The Birmingham Bears were 151 for 4, but they had that finish from Evans and Wokes himself.
Oh, beautiful shot again. What a cruncher.
What a shot that is. The slog for 6 and the perfect cover drive for 4.
Seen a massive difference over the years. The confidence of the players to use the feet, expand the game. Field change. It looks as if it's going to be deep square leg and a short fine leg. 13 from the over, 2 balls to go. Bowled him! Walks comes back strong.
Yep, said he needed to get their skills right, and he has done, Wokes. They're in a hurry here, Birmingham Bears are a little bit worried about the time. But the perfect Yorker has dismissed the danger man, Brown. Absolutely sensational delivery. Just angling in, base of the off stump, and Brown's gone. Made 55, played really well, 152 for 7.
Two strapping lads now. Flintoff strides out.
I did have faith in my bowlers, and I know we had some young bowlers like Alan Dolby and Ricky Gordon playing and things like that throughout the competition who weren't the most experienced, but I think as captain you've got to back your bowlers in particular and back your 11 players. So that's what I tried to do with some of especially some of the younger guys, to make them feel like they deserve to be there, and they did. And obviously when you've got Chris White, G. Patel, and etc. in the attack with the part, the senior guys, they know what they're doing. They've done it for so many years that you obviously trust them to and just keep delivering more often than not.
Yeah, off Ollie, I think I still remember it, just going over Belly's head. So I remember I was just thinking, no, you can't. You know, you're retired, just get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, why you come back? But yeah, we were nervous. But you know what? Wolksy, credit to him, like, nerves of steel, come back and nailed his Yorkers. And yeah, I always knew, like, Wolksy, go-to death bowler. He nails his Yorkers, and you know, he's got this one in the bag.
I don't remember two of them, to be honest. I remember one because that time I wasn't so calm. I remember because he bowled, I think he went for a Yorker to Flintoff, and just got his length wrong and disappeared over long on for 6. And I know obviously there's captain hindsight, but his slower balls, and on that wicket, his slower balls with 3 men out leg side have been working so well for him. And obviously a big guy like Flintoff who hits it straight a long way. You know, I felt that was a bad ball at that time. He'd bowled fantastically well the whole day for us. But at that time, I was like, why has he bowled that ball? Obviously, I'm like, we wanted to get our hands on that trophy. We were so close. And we thought, oh no, it's going to go down to the last over. It's written in the stars for Flintoff, etc., etc., and all these things are going through your head. So, no, but as I said, that ball, at that point, I was nervous, to be honest. But then going into last over, obviously you've got your nerves, but even at the last ball, I was okay. You know, Wolksy, of course, never lets me down, so I had full confidence in Wolksy delivery, and yeah, of course he did.
Yeah, had a little bit to do. Like you say, it wasn't really looking like it was going to be overly troubling. It was looking like it was probably going to have to defend roughly around about 20 or something until that last ball went for 6. But you know, that's T20 cricket. It happens, doesn't it? You know, Ollie was actually probably one of our best bowlers in that final. You know, and it was unfortunate that he went for a couple of 6s in his last over because he was outstanding. He got the big wicket of Joss, which at the time I remember thinking, you know, if we get Josh Butler out before he gets going, we've got every chance of winning this game, and if anything, we'll probably be favourites. And you know, Ollie got that big wicket, and I remember thinking at that point, you know, it's ours to lose from here. But yeah, I think it was roughly 14, was it, defending on the last over?
14 or 15.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, Freddie was in half decent form, having hit a couple of bombs the previous over. But
I remember thinking, close out here, oh, this is a game. You know, they needed something like 35 to win, or you know, win. I was like thinking, go for 2 runs here, or this is the game. And all throughout that tournament, I've just been nailing my Yorkers. And Flintoff obviously came in, and I'll be honest, I just literally thinking it's just another batter, nail your Yorker. That's been what you've been doing all tournament. And to be fair to it, like, I did exactly what I wanted. I hit a pretty good Yorker, but it was pretty good batting, I always say. So the first one, I can't remember which way round he did it, but the first one, he stood really deep, stood literally bang on his stump. So he made my Yorker like a half volley, chipped it for 6. So I'm like, oh gosh, he's messing around the crease here. This one, because he's gone deeper, I'm going to have to go fuller. So I've gone fuller, and then the second one, he's come out 2 yards out of his crease and made it a low full toss, another 6. I was thinking, oh, for God's sake. Now, looking back now, he hasn't been playing cricket all summer. I should have just bowled him a slower ball or something that he wouldn't have picked, or even a bouncer. Bowling him a Yorker, as, you know, him making it into something he wanted was probably not the way to go. Looking back now, I should have, like I say, bouncer or slower ball. But, you know, at the time, I sort of executed exactly what I wanted. They were both pretty good Yorkers that he sort of made into a half volley, and he made the other one into a full toss. So, yeah, I literally, that's why I was, you know, there was one point where I just smiled at him. You know, he was pretty pumped up and he told me to sod off. But that's why I was smiling. I was literally thinking, well, I've executed what I wanted there, and he's just played 2 pretty good shots. Fair play to him. Luckily, the legend that is Chris Woakes was bowling at the other end.
Oh, they got there on time. Just. And so, it's down to the last over. What a day we've had. 168 for 8, 19 overs, 14 to win. Flintoff 15 from 5. Stephen Perry get a single.
He can't do it, surely. A wicket with his first ball and hit the winning runs. In the dugout, They're waving for the extra penalty. They want the penalty runs. Come in, save the single. I can't believe they're going to give Parry a single here. Come in on the one.
But I just remember thinking at the time, this can't be written in the stars for Freddie, can it? This can't be his comeback, and he's kind of going to come and win it for Lancs. But tried to hold my nerve, and thankfully, I probably got away with a couple of deliveries in that over. I bowled a relatively good over. I got a few Yorkers in, but probably missed my Yorker a couple of times, and he hit them down the ground for ones or twos, and another day they could have easily been, I suppose, out at the park.
I think I remember you talk about my lack of contribution on that day, which is absolutely right.
I didn't say that, Andy. I didn't say that.
No, well, let those be my words. But I remember missing a run. I think I had all three to aim at with Flintoff scurrying down for a bye, and I missed all three of them. I think late one of the last two overs, and I think that would have ended the game as well. So I remember feeling a little bit like I needed to be vindicated a bit for making that mistake. So I think it's fair to say we won that day in spite of my presence. I think in fairness.
If you look at that last over, there's a couple of balls. Warwickshire is an unbelievable cricketer and gets it into the hole really, really well. There's a couple of balls in there that he didn't quite get in, but on a different day they got out the park. But it wasn't that day. It was our day. And
Wokesy's a fantastic cricketer, full stop. He's been there before. He's done it, and he held his nerve and got us over the line. And I think it was something that we would worked for, but we deserved. When you put in the hard work. And the team that we had a structure and a philosophy of how we wanted to play, and that sort of helped us in the final.
It was amazing. I've been thinking about this, and I think, if I'm honest, I think that whole season with the T20, I think I was personally a little bit scarred from the quarter-final losses that I mentioned and the pressure that we put on ourselves. And I think I'd really thought that ship had sailed and it wasn't going to happen for us. And we sort of. That allowed me personally, I can't speak for anyone else, but certainly me, I know I had conversations with Jeetan Patel as well, where we were just playing and we were hoping to enjoy it and take the pressure. I think we were doing really well in the one-day cup. We were challenging for the championship in the same season. There was a lot going on, and I think we saw it as a bit of an outlet to sort of just relax and enjoy entertaining some great crowds and playing some good cricket and really take a bit of pressure off ourselves. And I think as a result, when we got to the back end of that game, I still remember not at any stage did I think that, or did I allow myself to think that we were going to win the title, the trophy. I just weirdly, I've never played cricket like that, but I didn't allow that pressure to come in. And I think the last few overs, I wasn't thinking about we're ahead or we're behind or we look like we're going to win this or anything like that. It was literally just trying to work out what to do with the next ball. And I still remember the balls. I think a low full toss from Wokesie, and I think Stephen Parry slid it out to the offside. And I can honestly say, and it's a weird thing to say, but I can honestly say that was the only moment, the first moment where I actually thought we could win, and we'd actually won. So it was that for me personally made that moment different and special in its own way compared to any other competition we've won. In that, it was genuinely a surprise. It was almost like scoring a last-minute winner in a final, in a football final, where you get that instant sort of emotion. It doesn't build up, and often when you win things, there's a sense of relief as well. You've added some pressure, and you're expected to get there. Once you get close, it takes time. And generally, I've never won anything that felt like that. The spontaneous joy was pretty special and something I'll remember for forever.
It was good tactics in the end to get him on strike. I remember thinking that penultimate ball and thinking, I've just got to make sure that Freddie doesn't get a boundary here. Really, if he gets a 1 or even a 2. I'd have backed myself to close it out, but thankfully he got down the other end. I mean, no offence to Stephen Parry, and I know Paz quite well. I played enough with him and against him, but certainly was happier bowling at him than I was Freddie that final delivery. And I was backing myself to not get hit for 6 last ball by Stephen Parry.
We had our plans throughout the competition generally, so he wasn't going to suddenly come around the wicket and try something funky or different. We knew where the short boundary was, where do we want the batsman to hit the ball, so let's set the field accordingly. But yeah, we had a couple of chats, obviously, going into the last ball when it was 6 to win. You can change the field a little bit because you know, 4's fine.
He's got a hero at the other end in Andrew Flintoff. Can he make a hero, a name for himself? A Lancashire legend. Hit it out of the ground. They pray in the dugout.
Keep your feet behind the line, don't ball her wide. Oh, he's tried. He's tried. Birmingham Bears have come through, the home team, and they have been absolutely brilliant today. And that little matter of 280,000 in the skyrockets.
Great scenes here. What an over from Chris Wokes. Brilliant from Wokes. I reckon this victory has given him as much pleasure as any of those test match victories. Outstanding last over. The fireworks go off, and the ease of Edgbaston look down on the home ground. Brilliant from Flintoff. It was nearly the fairy tale ending. He just couldn't get on strike for those last two deliveries. But in fairness, a complete performance was from the Birmingham Bears. The best side won this competition on their home ground.
Well, they squeezed their way into finals. Home team, they've had great support. They knew the pitch. I think they've been excellent. He tried so hard there, Stephen Perry. Go on, Dougie, lad. Get him in. 280 grand. I can't get over it. Falling 4 short, Lancashire Lightning. What a great story for Andrew Flintoff. 20 from 8. But they've been good. They've been very good, the Bears.
Yeah, timing is everything. They didn't start particularly well, and they won their last 3 games in the group. They then qualified, beat Essex, beat some good sides, beat Surrey, and now have beaten the mighty Lancashire. Dougie Brown's happy, the support staff are happy. Excellent performance. Excellent day out. I think Edgbaston has done it well. They always do here, finals day. Lancashire have played their part, just not quite enough in the end.
All the handshakes, all the congratulations, all the commiserations. It's been a fabulous day, it really has. We've seen some wonderful players. The skills from 2003 have kicked on. Footwork of the players, the power of the players. He's enjoyed himself. Nearly. Back to the chip, man. Two warriors there, Dougie Brown, Andrew Flintoff. They'll be celebrating tonight. 181 for 5 plays, 177 for 8. Oh, it's a hug-a-thon.
Winners of the NatWest Blast 2014, the Birmingham Bears.
Forget about the ice bucket challenge, that is the champagne challenge. Michael Atherton has leapt from the stage to try and avoid that. Brilliant scenes here as Warwickshire lift the trophy for the first time in domestic T20. They are the winners of the NatWest T20 Blast.